presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Connor McDavid, the first game ever to score a Stanley Cup final goal in the penalty game of no brilliant piece of work. McDavid to Perry, and it's 4-1
on Sports 1440
and the Oilers Nation YouTube channel.
Kicked away by Hyman. Save today. McDavid flipping it. Scores. Connor McDavid has done it again. And this one's going back to Edmonton.
Four hours and 20 minutes till puck drop. Welcome to the Positive Friday edition of the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. The Gregor Show, as always, brought to you by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Hey, Oilers, slight favorite tonight. First time in the series. So when you look at a lot of statistics, you can see why. And they're at home in what will be an absolutely ravenous crowd tonight for Game 6. Get to PlayAlberta.ca. Use the promo code Gregor50, Gregor50, and you'll get your free $50 play with a minimum $5 purchase. You can get involved in the show. We're going to have a lot of text time, maybe even some open line time. Get a sense of the excitement, maybe a little nervousness. Depends who you are, as the Oilers set to take on the Panthers. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440 in our inbox. You can also email us if you like, Gregor@sports1440.ca. We are coming to you live at On the Rocks, and I look around. It's the calm before the storm. As tables are set up, I think they even got a few extras in here tonight. As lots of there's some spaces to sit. I'd get here though early. I know people. How many of you are going to be at work past 4 o'clock? Other than us, we will. We'll take it through. Don't worry. But many of you probably have made deals with your boss. Hey, it's Game 6, boss. Think about it. You never know if there'll be a Game 6 of a Stanley Cup final on home ice in the future for the Oilers. Maybe it'll be Game 5 or 7. You never know, because it's hard to get there. So enjoy it while you can. These are the days where I'm like, people that don't enjoy sports, or maybe just aren't into it, these are the days I think they miss out. Now, there's lots of other days where you could say, we're the idiots for watching, too many games in the course of a season. That's fine. I can actually understand that. But come playoff time, I'm sorry. That's your reward as a sports fan, is a playoff time. And for the team you cheer for Oilers fans, it's been a long time coming, and hope you enjoy it all tonight. We have a loaded show for you. Jeff Merck will join us right away. We got Cam Tate, who I don't know if Tate will even be able to do his hit. I think he might have eaten more cookies today than I've ever seen him. I don't know if he thought he was a cookie monster from Sesame Street or not, but Tater was crushing the cookies today. Now, I did notice that Rashog, not shy either. Might want to pace yourself, double R. Pace yourself on the cookies, okay? The Oilers, I don't think there'll be any lineup changes. I know Chris Knobloch said Kane was a game time decision. He skated yesterday. He did not take one line rush within the top 4 lines. I don't think he's going to play. So I think the Oilers will go status quo. We mentioned yesterday Cousins will come in, make his first appearance in this year's Stanley Cup final with Florida. Out goes Okposo. They've switched up the Rodrigue and Verhaeghe. Rodrigue will go with Bennett and Tkachuk. Verhaeghe will play with Barkov. And I understand why, because if you look in the minutes, total minutes in the series, 24 minutes, they've been outscored 5-0. The Verhaeghe, Tkachuk, Bennett. And in minutes against McDavid, only 11 minutes, they've been outscored 3-0. Now, Rodrigue, when he's on that line, they haven't been outscored. They haven't scored, but they haven't been outscored. So they will put them back together tonight in hopes. Because if you look at Game 3, you can't really use Game 4 as a comparison, because in Game 4 is a blowout. McDavid only played 17 minutes. They were able to rest a lot of their guys. They were up. And Game 4 was a close game, and I think was a better indication. If you looked at that night, McDavid played 8 minutes versus the Bennett line, about 3.5 versus Barkov's line. So, it's hard to, unless a coach on the visiting team really wants to go out of his way to get a matchup, You just kind of say, hey, well, we'll get the guys out there. He's going to play against our top two lines. And if their top two lines can't beat him, well, then we probably don't deserve to win. It's kind of how it goes. And you could say the same thing for the Oilers. So we'll hear from Leon Draisaitl today. Always a very honest self-assessment from Leon Draisaitl. Some would say maybe he's too hard on himself, but that's how Draisaitl is. He has a very high internal standard, feels he hasn't reached it yet in the Stanley Cup final. In his words, quote, I've yet to find my game. I haven't found my legs yet, but lots of other times when I haven't played as well as I would like, I found ways to come out of it, and I'm excited and expect to do so tonight. So, that would be a great time for Draisaitl to appear. Now, the one thing Draisaitl never mentions, Draisaitl's, he's dealing with, my source tells me, probably 2 injuries right now. Because if you look at Leon Draisaitl, and if you don't think that health plays a factor, anybody who's watching Connor Brown right now is like, I guess there is a difference when a guy's really healthy and when he's not. And then you look at Leon Draisaitl in the first 2 rounds, he had 24 points in 12 games. He was the Oilers' best player. He was better than McDavid. McDavid had 21. Draisaitl had 24. Draisaitl played great. And keep in mind, up until that point, he was averaging 1.65 points per game in his career in playoff games and through 61, not a small sample, 61 games. He had 101 points in his first 61 playoff games. Now he's at 72 and he has 107 points. He only has 6 points in his last 11 games. Now, most guys would take 6 points in 11 games and be like, whew, doing pretty well. But it's Draisaitl, and he has a little bit higher of a standard. And if he can get going tonight, that would be huge for the Edmonton Oilers. When you look at this game, I was interested. I had a really good conversation with Craig Simpson today. And the one thing Simpson mentioned was, tonight the Oilers, not much changes really from game 4 or 5. You come here, you have to win. You're the underdog. You've got lots of confidence. You roll in. Right? Florida now, it's their 3rd chance to win the Stanley Cup. And, well, some would say the pressure the Oilers will go to bed on Sunday night, even Saturday, but Sunday night for sure. And he says it's impossible. He'll go to bed thinking, I could win the Stanley Cup tomorrow. And they've never had that feeling before. Now, of course, a few of them, I shouldn't say the whole team, but quite a few of their guys. And he says it's just human nature, and it's a different feeling. He goes, that as much as Edmonton will have momentum going into game 7, that will maybe even things out. So it was an interesting take from a guy who's won multiple Stanley Cups, been through it all. And you think about it, right? Like the Edmonton Oilers right now haven't thought about the Stanley Cup. They've just thought about just win tonight. Now it is an elimination game for both teams. Both teams will have a chance to win the Cup on Monday, which would make it unreal. Like, who doesn't love a game 7? It's fantastic. The only people I think not rooting for a game 7 tonight are Florida Panther fans. I think non-partisan fans of either team are like, hey, who doesn't like a game 7? And I know Flame fans, Canuck fans, Leaf fans, other ones are like, yeah, losing in game 7, ha. You can bug the Oiler fans online if it happens. I get it, right? There's not supposed to be singing Kumbaya and holding each other hands when you're fans of opposing teams come Stanley Cup playoffs, baby. It's just a different time. So, well, we'll get to all of that. 833-401-1440 is the text line. We've got a lot of texts coming in already. We'll get to those. We're going to hear from Holloway. We'll hear from Chris Knobloch, Zach Hyman, Paul Maurice. Paul Maurice today was interesting listening to actually Oliver Ekman-Larsson about the power play, because here's some numbers to chew on for the Florida Panthers. And I said it at the start of the series. Anytime, because we used to hear it, and thankfully it's been drowned out. But trust me, you'll hear it again next March or April. Special teams doesn't matter. If anybody ever utters those words to you, you should look them square in the eye, very calmly, and say, do you want a do-over? Do you want to rethink that? Because it might be the most inaccurate statement. Special teams matters a lot. It might not matter every game, but it matters a significant amount. Ask the Dallas Stars and the Oilers. What changed in games 5 and 6? Oh, that's right. The Oilers power play. 80%. Game over. Twice. You look at the Florida Panthers. Last year in the Stanley Cup final, Vegas scored 6 power play goals. Florida, 0. They went 0 for 14. This year in the postseason, they're 1 for 16. And they've given up 2 shorthanded goals. So their power play is a negative when you look at net power play percentage. Not good. So that's 2 consecutive finals where they have now scored, they're 1 for 30 and allowed some shorthanded goals. It's not good. And, Oliver Ekman-Larsson was asked about the power play. He believes, we really got to simplify it. His exact quote, I'm not going to be up here and tell you, the changes we're going to make, but we need to simplify it. We need to have fun and believe in our 2 units. So it was interesting when you say believe in your 2 units. So, hey, Zach Hyman, when I asked him about the Oilers power play and how all of a sudden, as individuals, we know when someone scores, you get some confidence. Does it work the same way for a power play? And he said, it does, but more so what it does is you start to feel it, but then the other team is like, uh-oh, now they've scored, right? And that pendulum swing can be massive when it comes to confidence and execution on a power play, and then conversely on the penalty kill. So we'll get more into that. Also today, a non-Stanley Cup note, but a big note, Andrew Cogliano, who, of course, was the 25th overall draft pick for the Edmonton Oilers, ended up playing his first 5 years with Edmonton. Really salt of the earth human being. Stay first. Do not be surprised. Within 5, 6, 7 years, Andrew Cogliano will be a general manager. He's very smart. He talked openly. I've had conversations with him. He wants to get into management. That's what he wants. And there's a guy who was a first-round pick, so he's got high skill, but then also realized, you know what? I might not be a high enough skill guy to be a consistent top 6 forward. He also had to change from center to wing. He didn't want to do it. He admitted it. That was probably an error in Edmonton. He thought himself as a center. Once he went to Anaheim and they had Kessler and Perry, he's like, Getzlaf, not going to be a center there. Then he moved to the wing. And he felt that maybe prolonged his career, allowed him to get on the forecheck. It wasn't as physically as demanding in his own zone. And man, he went on to an unbelievable career. Probably the greatest part of Cogliano's career is if you go down and you look up a stat line and you see games missed. And you're just like, what? Like, this guy never missed. The most games he ever missed in one season was 8. Remember his Ironman streak got ended because of a bogus suspension? Now, he wouldn't have broken the record because the next year he missed 4 games with an actual injury. But remember that 2-game suspension? The guy had never missed a game in his career in his first 2 games. And that was like, was it 10th, 11th season in the league? And it was due to a really weak suspension. But Cogliano missed 27 games total in a 17-year career. 27 games in 17 years. and he was not a perimeter player, right? Guy was a penalty killer, shot blocker. You think at some point you're going to take one in the wrong spot, but man, what an unreal career. And the thing that stands out most to me when I think of Andrew Cogliano was actually when I reached out to him after Joey Moss passed away. And I told him my idea that I was going to, because Joey Moss passed away at 57 years of age, I wanted 57 people to share their stories about Joey Moss. Well, I reached out to say, hey, Cogs, I know you enjoy, I didn't know how close they were, but I knew they're pretty close. I said, hey, man, I'd love to be. He sent me a text message back that was so profound about his respect for Joe and how honored he was that I asked him to speak about him. And then he wrote and said just an unbelievable email about Joey Moss and how him meeting Joey Moss, people are like, well, everyone's like, oh, we're helping Joe. He goes, he was the perfect guy for me to meet at a young stage in my career. Because he reminded you about empathy and about being a good human, being a good teammate. No one cared about the team more than Joey. And, him and Sam Gagner, they became very close to Joe. And it's, so that's the thing is, as much as the speed of Cogliano, and he won a Stanley Cup, which was awesome for late in his career, but that's the thing that I'll remember most about him and our interactions over his long career. And a really good guy, funny dude. I still remember like him and Gags will still laugh because they were young guys, and Struddy's pretty witty. And thankfully, he's not listening right now. He's having a nap because he's going to the game tonight. So I know Struds needs a nap just so he can make it past 9 o'clock. But Struds was so witty that Gags and Cogliano used to have to go 2 of them on 1 to try to go back and forth verbally. So Struds, that's like his claim to fame. That he needed 2 of them to match his wit. I'm not sure if that's accurate, but that's the story. So kudos to Andrew Cogliano, an unbelievable 17 years, man. 17-year career. Think about how many of you out there have stayed at one job for 17 years. And a job that you liked. So we'll see. But guys, didn't the one Florida Panther power play goal come in the last seconds from Jesse? I'm not sure, but keep in mind, I don't think it matters. Just the Oilers' 2 power play goals came in the final 8 seconds. So to me, it doesn't matter if you're the first 8, the last 8, the middle 8, as long as you score in the power play. Ultimately, that's what matters. So. 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, I know people who miss 27 days a month at work from farm team. Well, guessing they won't last very long. I still remember it was probably the greatest. Cons, do you remember what was the longest stretch you ever got up to for Struds without needing a day off for the show?
Well,
I think it was 26.
Yeah, because I had to get Jess to voice them, and I didn't have to get her to voice too many. So because we had the countdown done up, and I think I only had to go back once and like, okay, we're past 15, and I think she did 15 more, and that was it. So I believe 25, 26 was the number.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite gigs. The audience guys loved it too. Oh, Struddy's made 14 in a row. This is unbelievable. Oh, it's amazing. Absolutely loved it. So we'll see. Coming up, Jeff Merck is going to join us. We'll talk about the Cup final. We'll get your excitement level, boys and girls, 4 hours away. How are you feeling? Are you more confident? Less confident, more stressed, comfortable now? You face 2 must-win games for your team. How do you feel about third time's a charm? Well, it's coming up tonight. Get to all that and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, live and on the rocks, Jasper Ave, 118th Street.
Finals fever is here, and it's all about the Oilers. We're boosting your odds and enhancing your parlays on all playoff games. Every bet on any game enters you into a draw to win seats for the 2024-25 hockey season, or 5 pairs of seats to 5 separate Oilers games for the 2024-25 season. Use promo code Gregor50 when you deposit at PlayAlberta.ca to receive a $50 free sports bet. Join the excitement and cheer on the Oilers. Let's bring it home. Strings and conditions apply.
Christensen Communities, a name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com.
What's cracking at Cattail Crossing? The Mixed and Mingle League. Join Cattail Crossing Golf and Winter Club every Thursday as they pair up males and females for a fun and social round of golf. Only $33.30 all season long. Details at cattailcrossing.ca.
As a business owner, you know that good business is based on good relationships. So imagine, how would you feel if your commercial insurance was driven by people, not products? At High Street Insurance, we've been serving Canadian businesses like yours for 10 years. People, taking care of people. We take the time to know your business so we can ensure that your insurance coverage is finely tuned to the nuances of your commercial situation. Good protection starts with understanding you. Reach out to us today at highstreetinsurance.com.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Centre's new cutting-edge feature screens. spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Cruise through summer with a sleek new Mitsubishi from Cross Mitsubishi,
Explore the largest 2024 Mitsubishi inventory in Western Canada,
including the dynamic Outlander PHEV and the sporty Eclipse Cross.
At Cross Mitsubishi, you'll get 0% financing on all our 2024 models, including the RVR and Mirage.
Plus, every Mitsubishi comes with a 10-year, 160,000-kilometer powertrain limited warranty.
Visit Cross Mitsubishi today and drive your ambition.
9605 34th Avenue at crossmitsubishi.ca.
CW Eves Troughing is busy. That's why they're looking for experienced troughers to run one of their trucks. To get paid top rates, contact CW Eves Troughing at 780-435-1492 or email info@cweves.com.
Positive Friday continues on. Welcome back. How are you, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube,
Facebook as we
come to you live.
A bit of the calm before the
storm. Other place is going
very
to be
full.
Very full. Very boisterous. Very excitable tonight. On the rocks, Jasper having 118th, 450 beers, 60-cent wings. Get here for the game. I recommend getting here a little bit earlier to ensure you get yourself a great seat. Now, there's going to be some standing room only for sure. Want to be at the bar and watch a game, but hey, if you want a comfortable table, get down here probably before 5, maybe 5:30. We'll see. Now, let's go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. And it's getting hot out. We like it. And you know what that means? How about $1 cone? Enjoy it right now. Tasty, soft serve ice cream cone only at McDonald's. As we are joined by a good friend of the show from Rogers Sportsnet, also co-host of the 32 podcast, 32 Thoughts podcast. Jeff Merck joins us. Jeff, how you doing, my man?
Can I tell a story about the Brass Bonanza that I just heard a couple of seconds ago? Actually, I want to ask you a question about the Brass Bonanza. Okay, so we all love the Brass Bonanza. It's awesome. You know who didn't like the Brass Bonanza?
Brian Burke.
No, actually, Berkey liked it, but he's a Providence College guy, so he dug it. The players.
Okay.
There was one player specifically who led the charge to get Brian Burke. Now, Brian Burke's always been the one that's fallen on the sword on getting rid of the Brass Bonanza with the Hartford Whalers.
Okay.
But there was one player on the team that wouldn't let it go and made it a point of interest to make sure that the Brass Bonanza would never be heard again. Do you know who that player was? I have a hint for you.
Ooh.
I have a hint for you if you want it.
Okay.
The hint is he's now a general manager in the NHL.
Ron Francis?
No, but great guess. Great guess.
Ooh. Just trying to think. Somebody else who played for the Whale. I don't know. Who is it?
Pat Verbeek.
Oh, the ball of hate. Yeah. He hates
the little
everything.
Ball of hate. Berkey told me that a while ago, and he gave me the green light to use it a while ago as well. It's like, 'cause he would always,
awesome.
he was always,
next time
he was always criticized as the guy that got rid of Brass Bonanza, and he took took it publicly, no problem. Not going to throw the players under the bus. And I remember asking him about it once on one of the nights that we were doing TV together. He's like, "Okay, I got to come clean here. I've dived on the grenade for this one too long." It was Pat Verbeek. Pat Verbeek was relentless. The guys hated. We're an NHL team, and we don't need a college fight song. Please, this is the NHL. We're not in college anymore.
Oh, that's too funny. Well, next time we get him on, I'm going to make sure we play it as an intro just to bug him. So,
trust me, and say Merrick said you'd love to hear it.
Yeah, that's what I'll say. Hey, I heard you're a huge fan. Huge fan of it. I do know we had Dave Lemley on the show, and the Oilers lost one night, 11-0 in Hartford. That was actually the year during their first ever Stanley Cup run. They had lost 11-0 in Hartford in the last game of a road trip. And Lummer took a 5-minute major, and they scored 4 times on it while he was in the penalty box. And he was like, I bleeping hate that song. So, too funny. So, I could see how opposing guys would hate it, but it's pretty catchy. I guess maybe if you played there for many years, after a while, you get sick of it. But so it's good addition. So I've been hosting the show for years, and it was during the decade of darkness, and the Oilers were terrible. And it was hosting a 4-hour radio show when the team's out of it in November. I think it was 2012. It might have been like the 4th or 5th year. And I was like, hey, you know what? I'm very much I'm probably a 3/4 glass full type of guy. And I was like, I can't do it anymore. I can't just have the constant. So I said on Fridays, it's Positive Friday. Now, obviously, over the years, if there's something that we have to talk about that isn't, we'll try to, we mention it. But Positive Friday, for the most part, is a little bit more of a positive tone on things. And, a lot of the audience kind of caught on because they're like, hey, we got lots of time to complain about things. But my goodness, at some point, you need something exciting and funny and positive. So that's really how Positive Friday began, because it was so terrible for so long.
You're cutting it. I don't know if you can hear me. You're cutting in and out on me. Can you guys call me back? You're cutting in and out on me.
Okay, Cons, we'll call you back. So there you go. Cons, you call him back, and then we'll get a better connection. I like that. So we'll see. Now it's interesting about Pat Verbeek. The Ducks are interesting because you keep hearing whispers of Trevor Zegras possibly being a guy who could be available by them. We know how it works in hockey circles. If you're not drafted when the new GM comes in, doesn't have that emotional attachment to you, didn't draft you. Not always, of course. It doesn't mean you trade every player you didn't draft, but if all of a sudden you're a GM who comes in and I don't really like this style of play for this player, it can change how it goes for you. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with him. And we'll get Merrick back in a second. So, all right. Well, we'll dial in. We'll hang up and dial in. All right.
Does sound like we've lost Jason. We do have Jeff Merck back here joining us from Sportsnet. Jeff, sorry for the delay there and the issues.
Oh, no problem. No problem. Listen, I've worked in radio going back to 1994. I totally understand. Trust me. I've been on the other end of that too many times myself.
We'll try to get Gregor back here. He's down it on the rocks. A little technical difficulties, but we do have Jeff Merck here talking about tonight's game. Jeff, we saw a little lineup move from the Florida Panthers. Obviously, Okposo comes out. You got Cousins coming in. A bit of that it factor. I know for Oilers fans, maybe a little bit on edge to see what he brings. What did you think of that move, and what does that signal from the Florida Panthers trying to just change something up after losing 2 straight?
Yeah, I mean, if you're, I mean, we saw Paul Maurice the game before. You know, we talked about one ball of hate. He brought in another ball of hate, the more contemporary ball of hate. But it doesn't surprise me that there's a tiny little tweak. The one thing that I do find interesting about this, and you know, it doesn't really make a difference. And you know, you can come in a suit and tie as opposed to your skates. Maybe that removes one of the, if the Florida Panthers win the Stanley Cup, who does Barkov hand the trophy to first? I personally think it would have been Ekblad, but there are a lot that would have maintained Kyle Okposo. Not that you can't come out in your civvies, but nonetheless, I think that, you know, maybe now, maybe now it seems as if the Florida Panthers want to put more of an accent on what got them there in the first place. And that is being, you know, more nasty than the other team. And we saw this, in, certainly we saw this in the Boston Bruins series specifically. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is now, you know, the Florida Panthers saying, okay, you dance with who brought you, and being nasty and trying to out nasty the other team is what got us here in the first place. Why not, if we're in for a penny, we're in for a pound. Let's go all the way here and bring in Nick Cousins.
Eric joins us. Jeff, I'm back. I think my connection is better. Hopefully,
hey, buddy.
You can hear me now. Hey, nice.
Yeah.
The Cousins comes in. You know what? They'll add a little juice, and he's going to have to be smart with his antics. I think that's always a borderline, but when you're good at it, it's a benefit. The Oilers, they're not going to make many changes. I look at this series. I thought last game might have been the most competitive game as far as, like, I know Edmonton was better in the first half. I thought Florida really came on later, and Matthew Tkachuk showed up after he scored, Jeff, and I wonder how much that's going to change things for Florida.
You know, if you're the Florida Panthers, I mean, Paul Maurice mentioned this, you know, after Game 5, you know, it was only 6 Oilers shots in the third period. They were very good, and they were. And the best player on the ice for the Florida Panthers, you're bang on, it was Matthew Tkachuk. And, you know, Renaud Lavoie made the point on NHL radio the other day that, you know, previous to Game 5, that Matthew Tkachuk hadn't been the same since the David Pastrnak fight in the Boston Bruins series. You know, is there something up with Matthew Tkachuk? Is there an injury? Is there something we're missing here? But that we haven't seen like a signature Matthew Tkachuk game, which I guess the signature Matthew Tkachuk game, I guess that term has sort of evolved over the past couple of seasons. But nonetheless, that was his best game, hands down. And if they can get that type of game again from Matthew Tkachuk, and if the Florida Panthers that we saw starting about halfway through the second and certainly into the third shows up tonight, then I think we're going to have a real game. Make no mistake about it, and I'm not necessarily one that believes in momentum between games. There's certainly momentum within a game, but I don't think in the playoffs, especially when there's the extra day, that momentum really means much. But I think everything, considering what we've seen the last couple of games from Edmonton and what we saw in the last half of Game 5, and to your point, specifically Matthew Tkachuk, you know, I think this is one of the reasons why we're all super pumped for this game tonight. Like, this one has all of the makings of being a classic game. You have a team in Edmonton that has found their pitch and hit their stride in this series. You have a Florida Panthers team that, you know, has always relished in playing the underdog and the scrappy squad. Played a much better second half than first half in the last game, and they've heard, you know, all about how the Oilers are feeding it to them, and, you know, 1942 with the Wings and the Toronto Maple Leafs, and, you know, the choke tag and all of it. This one, and to say nothing of what's going to be an insane Edmonton crowd tonight, this one has all the makings of being an absolutely classic game. And if you can get a big one out of Matthew Tkachuk, well, I guess that just, you know, Jason, just adds a little bit more spice to the chili.
Jeff Merck joins us from Sportsnet. And on the other side, Leon Draisaitl talked about, you know, he's not happy with where his game's at. He has a high standard for himself. He doesn't feel he's there yet. He also feels he's shown he's capable of bouncing back. Now, he didn't mention the fact that he's banged up, and I got sources telling me he's probably dealing with 2 injuries right now. And, when you look at what he did in the first 2 rounds from 24 points in 12 games, where he was their best player, like at the halfway point of this playoffs, heading into the conference final, Leon Draisaitl was ahead of Connor McDavid on the orders for the Conn Smythe. And obviously, he slowed down. Injury is probably a part of it, maybe confidence a little bit. But, Draisaitl doesn't have to be dominant, Jeff. But if he can just be impactful, because I look at it, like Draisaitl has as many points as Barkov in the last 4 games of the series. Right? Like, it's not like he's being terrible. He's not getting outscored. He has 2 points, Barkov points. So he needs to be even like average for him, which would be a point a game, and that could really help Edmonton.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, I still think to Barkov's point, well, first of all, to the injury question, like, he's the Monty Python Knight. Like, I'm sorry, like, still, one of the stories I'm always going to tell, like, for the rest of my life about the playoffs is, him playing on one foot. He turned into, as we like to call him, the best stationary player in the world. I've never seen a player do that. And gets to the bench and he's in agony. He gets a tap on the shoulder and he's jumping over there. And we're all saying, how is he playing with this injury, which we believe to be an Achilles, which turned out to be an Achilles? How is he doing that, considering that level of pain that you have to be in? So no surprise that he's not going to mention anything about an injury or playing through pain, but I'm with you. He's got to be playing through something. And when the big reveal happens, I don't think they'll be surprised. We find out that he is playing through, to your point, 1 or maybe 2 injuries here. There was that moment on last Saturday where we thought it was Draisaitl's goal, the signature shot from the goal line, and then we thought it was Hyman's, and it turned out that it was Ryan Nugent-Hopkins with the tap. But we're waiting for something like that. Like, he'll be consistent and he'll be good, but the expectation for Leon Draisaitl isn't good. Like, the expectation based on who he is, the expectation is great, and you just wonder, what could be the catalyst for that. He's one of the best playmakers, one of the best passers in the NHL. That story's been well told. I think we're waiting for a goal line goal here, don't you? Like, that seems to be the one that, gives him the juice and gets the players going. We almost saw it in game 4. I wonder if we see it tonight, because it's not for lack of trying. Like, that Oilers power play, one of the signature moves on it is, Connor McDavid flies through the middle of the ice, gets all the attention, and then slides until Leon Draisaitl is waiting by the red line. I wonder if we end up seeing that one tonight.
Jeff Merck joins us. Jeff, while we're in the Stanley Cup final, because it's going on forever, and I actually had 2 managers from other teams tell me they think it's kind of ridiculous that the team that wins this, if it goes 7, the team who wins it on Monday, you've got a bunch of people in your staff that work incredibly hard, and then they're going to be like, well, now we got to go to the draft. Like, it was supposed to be done tonight originally. This was supposed to be the last day of the Stanley Cup final. And the NHL's got to rethink this next year for any team. It's unfair to have, you work your whole life, you win, and then it's like, oh, we get to celebrate for a day or 2, and then we're done. Like, I don't know. That's kind of a bad look. But there's lots of other news going on. There's been some big trades already. There's lots of other rumors out there. What did you make of the Dubois deal?
Now, Elliot and I disagree on this one. He seems to think that it's all about Pierre-Luc Dubois and only Pierre-Luc Dubois. I think that there's a side dish to this, and that is Quinton Byfield. And he's due an extension. I would imagine this one, considering he's, probably the most improved player in the NHL, distinguished himself. It's discussions about, when does he find a place on the Team Canada roster. I think that there's part of, we need to open up both cap space and a roster spot here for Quinton Byfield. But I think this is the Los Angeles Kings admitting that they couldn't bring him back. And I think that this was like, I don't think that Rob Blake, lied when he said, we're not going to buy him out. We're going to try to make this work. I think that the Washington deal probably wasn't there at that point when the deal was made. Now, I think that, I don't think that Washington would have been the only team that would have been interested in Pierre-Luc Dubois all along the way here. Like, any team that's looking at the obvious one of the Boston Bruins. But, any team that's looking for size down the middle would probably have a look at this one. I know this is team number 4, but, Jason, you've been around general managers for a number of years, and the arrogance of, well, the problem is, he hasn't been in our system with our group. And once we get them into our system with our group and our program, we can turn them around and unlock the potential that's always been there. Hasn't worked yet. We'll see if it works with the Washington Capitals, who have, kind of always been that second chance team. You find yourself, whether it's, Sonny Milano or TJ Oshie or Dylan Strome, the second or third chance squad. It's really worked out with the Washington Capitals and second and third chance players, and they're crossing their fingers and hoping that it works here. But I really do think that part of this as well, one, it's a comment on Charlie Lindgren, who's got the starter's job right now in Washington, and he's going to have it for a couple of years here. But two, I look at everything, Jason, with the Washington Capitals through an Ovechkin chases Gretzky lens, and say to myself, Brian McClellan probably looks around the marketplace and said, I need a center that can get the puck to Ovechkin, because he's going to get the Gretzky record and he's going to get it wearing a Washington Capitals jersey. And we want that to happen as quickly as possible. And maybe just he looked at the marketplace and said, this is the best option that we have. There are no other potential first-line centers that are available. I mean, I know there's a lot of layers to this one, but I think from the Washington point of view, I think, again, so much is revolving around the Gretzky chase. I wonder how much of that went into this thinking.
Yeah, potentially, for sure. What about the Ottawa Senators? How important is this offseason for them? I think they got to make some significant changes to their group. They can't go back into next season with the same defense core, and I'm not even sure they can go with the same forward group and expect to win.
Yeah, listen, the pressure's there's the three teams we keep asking about, right? And I believe that, Detroit's even in the goalie market too, but the Ottawa Senators are. I think they know they need to change the mix. The Buffalo Sabres are in that need to take for the Buffalo, I hate to transition your question away from Ottawa to Buffalo, but one quick thought here. The Buffalo Sabres know that if there's no playoffs next year, that jobs are on the line and it's going to be ugly. And the mantra is you get to the playoffs or else there's going to be major changes at a lot of different positions for the Buffalo Sabres. So if you're the Ottawa Senators, again, Florida's not going anywhere. The Boston Bruins are always a good team. Tampa's not going anywhere. The Maple Leafs aren't going anywhere. So how are they going to get themselves into a playoff spot here? I'm with you. I think the back end needs some help. They do need goaltending as well. Full season of Shane Pinto is certainly going to help up front. But for me, so much of this for the Ottawa Senators revolves around a goaltender. And, Bruce Garriock, reporting, and rightfully so, that, they're very much in the conversation for Linus Ullmark for the Boston Bruins. That is a delicate situation. I don't think that, Ullmark goes anywhere without I don't think any put it this way. I don't think he waives his no trade to go to a market he doesn't want to go to, unless there's a major extension that comes along with that trade. So I think if you're the Ottawa Senators, it's not just pick around the edges. I think it's more major surgery in this offseason.
Jeff, one last one for you. You look ahead to the draft. How busy do you think it's going to be? Right? There's always hype about, there hasn't been a lot. Do you think Ullmark, Saros, all those guys, how many deals do you think we're going to have that are significant next week?
And there's always a surprise too. Last year we didn't know about Cutter Gauthier, and that could have been a massive wild card through all of it. So I always do wonder, specifically after coming off the Cutter Gauthier situation with Philadelphia last year, how many things do we not know? There's the things, Jason, that we do know about and wonder about, and, who's going to be the big mover here, and what are the Calgary Flames going to do, and is there going to be a TJ Ginla to Calgary, and, or does Montreal hang on to that number 5? Are they looking for TJ Ginla, who kind of seems like somewhat of a wild card in the top 10? Who's going to jump up to try to grab him? And then there's always, as I mentioned, that one player that you don't know about who could be available. I think last year in Nashville, on that first day of the draft, Nashville was trying to make the big headline by offering San Jose a package that included Yaroslav Askarov in exchange for the 4th overall pick and Will Smith. So is there something like that available this year? Do we see a surprise team jump up and try to make that substantial move? But, part of me always says, we always speculate on all these big trades and players moving and moving picks. And what happens? We get to the draft and everybody makes their picks. And then we just shuffle into day 2.
Yeah, makes sense. Jeff, will we have a Game 7?
Oh boy, I hope so. I really, really do. I don't want this great story to end, and there's nothing better than a Game 7 Stanley Cup final. So, I really have no idea what's going to happen, but I'm crossing my fingers and saying, if there is a hockey god, please let us get to a Game 7 here.
All right. Thanks so much, Jeff. We appreciate it, man. Thanks for sticking with the bad connection. We're all sorted out, so thanks for that.
Not a problem. Thanks as always for having me. Thanks, Jason. You be well. Enjoy the game tonight. Hey,
I will. You too. Jeff Merck, host of the Jeff Merck Show. Of course, also co-host with Friedman on the 32 Thoughts podcast. It is 2:40. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We got Tater in the 2-minute warning. We'll hear from Dylan Holloway, also Draisaitl, Knobloch, Hyman, and much more on a busy game day, Game 6 edition. The Gregor Show live at On the Rocks, Jasper Ave, on 118th Street.
Let's do this, Edmonton.
To the empty net. Takes off pressure off the goal line. Rebounded David fires and scores. And there will be a Game 6 of the Stanley Cup final.
This is Sports 1440.
We've finished construction of our gamma radiation containment facility. Is it up to code? Is it going to be safe?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Testing team reporting. We test your commercial operations using tools like infrared to ensure safe operation. Trust us to prevent potential calamity before it strikes.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Edmonton Stingers basketball face the Calgary Surge Sunday, June 23rd at the Edmonton Expo Center. Enjoy affordable family fun with a $5 food and drink menu and free parking. Tickets start at just $20. Visit thestingers.ca/tickets.
Does sound like we've lost Jason.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding.
Thanks there, Jason. Ever remember Jethro saying? Jethro had great ways of saying things. Oh my goodness. 3 by ciphering. The Oilers Panthers Stanley Cup final will give morning history by ciphering. The Oilers Panthers Stanley Cup final will award Stanley's mug in game. 6. And those fans belong to the Edmonton Oilers. There, I'm done ciphering. 2-minute warning. Jason Gregor Show. Monday, Friday, sports. 14:40. Thanks there, Jason. Ever remember Jethro Bodine on my favorite
tournament Saturday at the Whitecourt Golf and Country Club. Visit hockeyheroesgame.com to register. Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
Hey, Leduc, can leading edge physiotherapy help you? Well, this is a question I face every day. Let me answer the best I can. Do you have a pain or injury to your toe, foot, ankle, knee, hip, lower back, middle back, neck, shoulder, elbow, wrist, hand, or finger? Are you dealing with a sprain, strain, fracture, tendonitis, bursitis, arthritis, dizziness, balance issues, surgery, whiplash, or headache? Okay, I can't list all the problems that we can help in leading edge physio in under 30 seconds, and I can't promise we fix everyone. But I can promise that we'll combine our experience, skills, technology, and hands-on care to give you an edge. Life shouldn't hurt. Find us at leadingedgephysio.com.
Positive Friday rolls through. How are you, Gregor? Connor Halley. It is game day. Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. No lineup changes expected for the Edmonton Oilers tonight. The Panthers will have Cousins come in for Okposo. They're also going to swap their wingers again. Rodrigue will play with Bennett and Tkachuk. That line, probably the line that will see the McDavid line the most. And then for Hagee, who they're looking to get going, he's -7 in the series as 1 goal. He'll go with Barkov and Reinhart. So that's pretty much the changes there. I guess the other one, it's more just Oliver Ekman-Larsson will move up as we saw in the second half of Game 5. He'll play on their first unit power play. Will it make a difference? Who knows? The Panthers are 1 for 30 on the power play in the Stanley Cup final last year and this year combined. 1 for 16 this year, 1 for 14 last year, and they've allowed 2 shorthanded goals this year. So not a very good power play right now. So I can see why they would make a tweak in hopes to get things going. Let's get to the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of the no payments, no interest for 1 full year on your AC unit. Stay cool all summer at legacyheating.ca. Here is the man, Cam Tate.
Thanks there, Jason. Ever remember Jethro Bodine on my favorite television series, The Beverly Hillbillies? He was a beauty. Know what I'm saying? Jethro had great ways of saying things, like when he did math homework, ciphering. That's what he called math. Ciphering. So, when it comes to making a prediction, on the Stanley Cup Finals, I'll have to cipher. Oh, yes, I will, but hadn't had time to cipher. There's so much going on. What a night. Last night, over there at the Edmonton Convention Center. I'm telling you what, some of the greatest coaches, managers, and players ever in Canadian Football League history are in town. Hugh Campbell, Tommy Wilkinson, Michael, not Mike, Riley, Brian Kelly, Tracy Ham, and more are here to celebrate the Edmonton Elks' big 75th anniversary. We're hearing Henry the Gizmo Guy is jumping out of the cake. Saturday afternoon, center field. Halftime when the Elks open their season against the Saskatchewan Roughriders, which reminds me, I have to buy 2 cartons of milk.
We'll have to. Tater's sending you the wrong stuff, isn't he? So it's
going great today, Gregor.
Yeah, jeez, you and Tater both double fail there. I'm like, why is he talking about this? So yeah, we'll try to get the new one in. Like I said, Tater had too many cookies today. I told you, it's too much sugar. He's hyped up. He doesn't know what he's sending. Not good. Not good. Got to pace yourself. Can't have it. Trust me, I know, because I got a bad sweet tooth. I know maybe more than anyone that you got to pace yourself for that. And I don't know if our next guest is a big sweet tooth guy or not. Was in Edmonton doing the show. Of course, Ken Reed from Sportsnet, daily host. Lots of Stanley Cup talk nightly with him and his lovely co-host. Do we have Ken Reed now, Connor? Reader, how you doing?
I was at the morning skate today. I saw you pounding away at a story. I was going to come over. Instead, I crushed 4 Danishes and watched you.
So you're trying to you're trying to tie Tater. Tater, I think he might have ate 6 cookies today.
Yeah.
He had like 6 napkins on his shirt too, just so he wouldn't spill too much. It was amazing display. And trust me, like I have respect for sweets, but that was next level from the Tater today. So he's just crushed.
I'm trying to teach Gazdick how to crush it as a member of the media. There's Dr. Pepper there. There's Danishes. You got to give her, let's go.
Yeah, well, Gazzer's Gazzer's like slimming down, right? He's down from his plane weight of 240 for sure.
He's very slim. One of his old coaches on today. Like, what happened? No charter, the deal, no charter.
Yeah,
he's way down. He's slim. He's way thinner than I am. Respect.
Yeah, he must be doing yoga or something, I think. Eh?
I wouldn't doubt it. I like yoga. Yoga's good for the mind. For the mind. So yeah, he's slim and trim. I call him Hobbs, the natural. He's like, what's that? Too young to have seen the natural. I'm like, you're really good on TV. You're a natural. You're Roy Hobbs. So
my goodness.
To watch the movie.
He hasn't. Truth. I'm gonna have to chirp him about that one. My goodness.
Yeah.
But I guess he's a little bit younger. Maybe doesn't know about the natural. So it's a classic.
Well, yeah. I mean, and then I hear Cogliano retires. Amazing career, 1,300 games. But how old are we? He
was drafted 19 years ago. He had a 17-year career and only missed 27 games and really 25 because he was suspended for 2. Like that's unbelievable.
A pro's pro. Yeah. And hanging around the old guys, the first thing they usually ask, how many games did he play? How many games did he play? When you say 1293 or whatever it is, impressive.
Yeah, that automatically they're like, okay. They don't even care about how many points. They're like, all right, that's instant respect. The Oilers are hoping to play 2 more games. Obviously, the Panthers want to be one and done this weekend if they can. Ken, you've been around. You're in the city again. The atmosphere here is bananas, as it will be, and it's only going to fire up with every passing minute as we get closer to 6:20. But what's your expectation of the Panthers? We've talked a lot about the Oilers. We've seen them. They're desperate. We know everything they got to win. But do you feel the Panthers, where do you come out on if it's 3 strikes for your chance to put them away? Do you think that impacts them in Game 7?
Yeah, it has to. But I think it's kind of weird because the foregone conclusion seems to be that the Oilers are going to win tonight. Perhaps they do, but maybe they don't. But I thought, with Tkachuk scoring a goal last game, he's gone a while without one. And, I like the way that they came back when they were down 4-1. I was also intrigued by what Draisaitl said about it today. Everyone's gonna press and everyone's gonna go at it, and it's tough to score when the other team's pressing. That was a good point. But I think the beauty of this series is I just have no clue. If you knew what was going to happen, who wants to know what's going to happen? That's why we play the games. And I love the fact that the other night that was river hockey. That was Stanley Cup river hockey. 4-3. I mean, if you're a diehard Oilers fan, it was terrifying when you're up 4-1 and river hockey commences. But it was so entertaining, and I'm kind of along the lines with Mr. Brass Bonanza, Jeff Merck just said. I don't really want it to end. So yeah, I hope the Oilers win tonight. Just for the entertainment factor alone. Plus, if they win, I get to stay in Edmonton until Tuesday because we'll be doing the show from the Moss Pit on Game 7 too.
Ooh, well, that's nice.
Breaking news for you.
Yeah, hey, that's if there is a Game 7, I'll be in Florida. So
there you go.
Yeah, well, it'd be
bigger budget.
Yeah, well, I don't know. You've been staying there for a long time, so we'll see.
True.
And you've been there for one. That's the only one we're going to go to, but we'll see if it happens. Now,
the only one you got to go. That's the best one.
That's
buddy.
true. Well. It's very true. We felt we were only going to go to games where the Oilers had a chance to win the cup. So
good.
Yeah, so it makes sense. You look at Florida and what they want, but the Edmonton Oilers and Connor McDavid. Here's my fun stat of the series.
Mm-hmm.
In the last 7 periods, Connor McDavid has 3 goals, 10 points. The Florida Panthers team has 10 points combined, everybody. So that's how good he's been. And do you think they can find an answer to slowing him down?
I honestly don't. It's the old Michael Jordan. Just try to contain him. That goal the other night that he dished it to Perry, that to me is incredible. Moss to a flame, eh? The Panthers is McDavid's stick, and he just finds Perry somehow. You and I are lucky because we're older and we can remember 99. And for younger kids, yes, this is what it was like. It's incredible to see anybody approaching Wayne's record. Was he 5 points away from tying the 47 points? What he's doing is absolutely incredible. He's taken it to a level that we have not seen, I would say, since Mario in 91. It's beyond awesome. And I love that he's going, and Skinner's also going at the right time. Skinner's numbers in game 4 through 7 are outstanding. Money player, right? That's my dad always used to say, that guy's a money player. I said, what does that mean, Dad? He said, when it really matters, that's when he'll step up. So Skinner, money player. McDavid, he's just an all player. He's there all the time. But I'm super impressed with what Skinner's done. And McDavid, I'd need a thesaurus here to get the adjectives right for you because I don't really know it. I'm not well read enough to give you the adjectives that guy deserves.
Yeah, it's really been impressive. I don't know if you read Pierre LeBrun's article. He had comments like, when your peers are raving about you, not that that's any different than anybody else, but it just kind of shows you the respect factor that he has from Sidney Crosby and McKinnon and other stars around the league. And it was funny. Jonathan Taves like, well, I just want Edmonton. I wanted the Game 7 now just to see, because you wondered what could he possibly do maybe in a Game 7 scenario with the cup on the line.
Amazing. Well, our good buddy Terry Ryan always uses the term relative greatness, and Gretzky was so far ahead of his peers. Bobby was so far ahead of his peers, and now Connor's getting there. And I think what Connor's gotten right the last couple of years, I always said he wasn't at that Gretzky Crosby stage where he was making everybody else better. He's at that Gretzky Crosby stage now where he's making everybody else better. Like he's just made everyone better just by. He's at a level now that I don't think he's ever been at, which is incredible to say, given what a tremendous superstar he's at. So I look, I'm supposed to talk for a living. It's hard to describe how good this guy is.
Well, the funny thing is, Reader, that McDavid's chasing or breaking records of Gretzky that no one thought were going to be attainable. Yeah. Like if he has 2 points here tonight, or and if they win, then 2 points in 2 games, he ties Gretzky for most points in a Stanley Cup final. He's got 42 points now. Gretzky had 47. Lemieux had 44. Gretzky had 43. Like, the chances of him getting 2 points tonight, I don't think anyone will be stunned. So win or lose, that means he ties Lemieux for second, right? Yeah, and it's 3 back at Gretzky. Like, it's nuts.
And we both know he could get 5 in a period. Like, he could rattle off 5 in a period. Would you be stunned? No, I wouldn't. So I loved watching him. It's a treat. We're blessed. And this city is blessed to be able to have said, oh, yeah, we had Gretzky. And then we had McDavid. And plus there was Messier and Anderson, Curry, Lowe, and Gere. This place is blessed as far as hockey goes. And, I mean, if you're like a Luke Skywalker guy and you believe in destiny, the Oilers have to win tonight. So we shall see. By the way, what's up with the new Star Wars? Oh no, wait, that's a whole different topic.
Yeah. Are you a big Star Wars guy, Kenny?
I was like, as a kid I was, but now I read about what they've done to it, and it's like, oh, come on, man, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like
there's lots of different spin-offs. Yeah, there's different ones. Yeah.
What about like playing the Stanley Cup final at the end of July? Come on.
Yeah. Now you've been in Edmonton for a while.
Yeah.
So what? While you're here and you're not at home, so you got a little bit more spare time. What do you have some go-to shows on Netflix or anything else that you like? What are you doing? What have you been doing? Are you a book reader? What are you doing in your spare time?
I'm a big book guy. I just finished a book by Scott Galloway, who's a business prof at the New York University, and I'm big right now. My go-to show on streaming is The Bear. It's about a restaurant scene in Chicago. That's my go-to show right now. The Bear.
Really?
So if you ever watched. Oh man, there's Shameless. There's the guy that plays Lip. He's the star of Bear. Yeah, and he plays the Texas Tornado in the Iron Claw. So that's my go-to show right now. The Bear. It's really good. I highly recommend it. Makes you really hungry though. It's like watching Hell's Kitchen get hungry.
Have you watched Mayor of Kingstown?
I have not. And I love Shoresy too. So that's good. Yeah. But Mayor of Kingstown, no. And the one with Stallone in it, where he's in Oklahoma, that's good.
Okay, let's see. But Mayor of Kingstown with Jeremy Renner, highly recommend it.
Okay,
highly recommend it. Go find that show. It is a fantastic show. I quite like it. So it's pretty gritty. It's a little bit of a drama. Renner's is a former felon who's now kind of a police guy, but it's got some really good twists to it. That's all I'll say.
Outstanding. Well, the one thing I know that your audience can agree on is we all get to watch our favorite show tonight, Hockey Night in Canada. Like, this is going to be awesome, buddy. I'm pumped. I'm psyched.
What do you expect tonight? Like, I know you've been down at the Moss Pit and stuff. Like, it's funny how you don't think it can get louder, but the fans find a way to get louder every game. And tonight, this is the last home game of the year for Edmonton. Can't go any further. And it's crazy how the decibel level and how loud it's going to be for the entire time, whether you're in the building or in the Moss Pit.
Mm-hmm. Love the Congo line after the Game 4 win. I thought that I am so impressed by the fans. They're down 3-1. They're still giving her. But first goal, man. I can't wait to see it erupt if the Oilers score first. And like I've been saying to Gazer the whole time, you need one power play goal. You need Skinner to be 90% of Bobrovsky, and you'll have luck. Because if you get that one power play goal, that means one of your big boys is scoring. And Skinner, man, he's been the better goalie the last 2-3 games. So we shall see. But yeah, I expect the Moss Pit to be awesome. I noticed the giant cheesy isn't there. I didn't see the giant Cheeto or cheesy today. I was a little bit disappointed in that. But yeah, it's going to be rock and roll. I honestly can't wait. I saw McJesus there. He praised me the other day, gave me his blessing. So I was impressed with that.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, Reader, enjoy it, and we shall see if you're here till Monday. We'll find out.
Okay, Jason. I'll see you tonight at the rink, and have fun, everybody. Pace yourselves.
Hey, buddy, no more Danishes, okay? 4 is enough.
4 is enough, exactly. Yeah. 4 is enough, brother.
Pace
okay,
yourself.
See you, bro.
There you go. It's Ken Reed from Rogers Sportsnet. Sean Brown is here. He's not wearing his Sean Brown Orders jersey, though, today. We'll find out why. Coming up next and on the Rocks, Jasper Avenue 118th. But first, let's get to the con man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by the Hockey Heroes Society and their charity golf tournament featuring NHL alumni. It goes September 7th. They have the big gala dinner on the 6th. So if you like golf, you like interacting with NHL alumni, and you want to support the Hockey Heroes Society, which is a great society, helps a lot of kids just getting into hockey, go to hockeyheroesgame.com for more information, where you can sign to tee it up. Here's Connor Halley.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Game day, the Edmonton Oilers looking to even up their series with the Panthers tonight down at Rogers Place. Puck draw just about 6:20 in that one. Some lineup changes for the Panthers. Nick Cousins drawing in. Kyle Okposo comes out for the Oilers. Head coach Chris Knobloch saying Evander Kane's status is up in the air. It'll be a game-time decision. Off the ice, former Oilers first-round pick Andrew Cagliano announcing his retirement from the NHL after 17 seasons. In retirement, Cagliano will join the Colorado Avalanche front office. Week 3 in the CFL continues tonight. The Bombers host the BC Lions. Kickoff 6:30. Elks will be in action tomorrow out in Toronto, taking on the Argos. That one starts at 5 o'clock. Major League Baseball, you got the Blue Jays in Cleveland to take on the Guardians. First pitch, 5:10. Right now, the Mets lead the Cubs 11-1. That one's just heading into the 9th. Copa America tonight, Peru takes on Chile. That gets going at 6. At the Euros, you had Ukraine doubling up Slovakia 2-1. Austria over Poland 3-1. And France and Netherlands wrapping up in a scoreless draw. The Edmonton Riverhawks kicking off the weekend series in Kamloops tonight. That one gets going just after 8 o'clock Mountain Time. In the WNBA, you got the Fever and the Dream at 5:30. Then at 8 o'clock, the Aces host the Sun. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by former NHLer and our co-host Sean Brown, as well as George Richards of Florida Hockey Now. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
What's cracking at Cattail? Maybe you've got the next tiger on your hands. Cattail Crossing offers young golfers Operation 36, a program to improve their growing skill set with other golfers their age. To register, email proshop@cattailcrossing.ca. You adore your Audi, value your Volkswagen, baby, or beer. But some of that love fades when repairs take several days and tons of cash for the dealership to do their magic. Let Cochran's Automotive rekindle the flame.
Is this one's going back?
Usually in BMW, Mercedes, Volkswagen, Honda, and Toyota. Cochran's Automotive will return her to mint condition. Open at 7 a.m. Let Cochran's Automotive repair your automotive air conditioning before things heat up. Cochran's Automotive, 780-452-5001.
Hey, Eddie Steele here.
Awesome Friday.
Motivated. And what motivates me? Winning? Been there, done that. What motivates me is the smell of fresh baked goodness, the kind you find at Bonton Bakery. As soon as you walk into Bonton, you're greeted with a big smile, a warm welcome, and the aroma. So good. The showcase of their baked goods always means trouble for me, not just because of the selection, but the excellent fresh ingredients. That's Bonton Bakery, 8720 149th Street, open 9 to 5, Tuesday to Saturday.
Hi, it's Jason Gregor. We're looking for an experienced salesperson to join us as we continue to grow the Sports 1440 brand across the province. Of course, you'll sell Mornings with Carius, Low Tide Show, The Frenzy, as well as my show. No radio sales experience is needed, but you need some sales experience. You have to love sports, and you must be a hunter and driven. The base salary plus commissions for this great opportunity, and trust me, you'll have loads of fun working with us. Email your resume to Gregor at 1440.ca. We look forward to having you on the team.
Solid financial plan is made up of more than just investments. Investments are an important part, but you need a more comprehensive approach. Vincent Pearson at Weird Pearson Akel & Associates Private Wealth Management understands that. He can help build a plan that includes retirement, estate planning, personal insurance, tax strategies, and yes, investments. Talk to him today and see the difference a real financial plan makes. Weird Pearson Akel & Associates. Call 780-988-4119 or visit weirdadvisoryteam.com.
Get ready, Oilers fans. During the finals, make a deposit with promo code Gregor50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the finals with 10+ odds boosts on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win amazing prizes like season seats for the 2024-25 season or 5 pairs of seats to 5 separate Oilers games for the 2024-25 season just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at playalberta.ca. Join the excitement and cheer on the Oilers. Let's bring it home. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
So Friday continues on live at On the Rocks. Jasper Avenue, 118th Street. Stop in, 4.50 beer, 60-cent wings as you get set for a pivotal Game 6. The Oilers, they're still alive. Obviously, they need a victory tonight, and if they do, then it's going to be a winner-take-all Game 7 on Monday night. And who doesn't like a Game 7 for a championship? I don't care if it's MLB, NBA, NHL, WHL, AJHL. Go down the list. I don't care. Game 7s are awesome. I've been to many. Watched many, covered a few, and hey, it would be great to cover another one. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca and PlayAlberta.ca. They believe it's going to happen because the Oilers there are the favorite tonight. You can use your promo code Gregor50, Gregor50, and get a free play when you make a $5 deposit. So check it out because it's going to end on Monday at the latest because that's the last day of the playoffs. So PlayAlberta.ca. As we welcome to the program, former Edmonton Oiler. He is our weekly co-host on Fridays. Sean Brown joins us. Brownie, how you doing?
Great. Yeah, I'm excited. This it's like the calm before the storm here. This is going to be, I'm sure this place is going to be rocking. Obviously, Rogers is going to be rocking. Lots to be excited about.
How come you're not wearing your very unique black Oilers jersey that you wore last Friday?
Can you believe I did that?
Yeah.
Do you believe what you sucked me into?
Yeah. We had a black and white party, so you could dress in black and white. And Brownie shows up in a hockey jersey. His own hockey jersey. It was like, no, it's, that was unique. The black one, and it had the indigenous symbol on the front. That was like a unique jersey. But yeah, I remember one of my buddies like, is that really Sean Brown? I'm like, he goes, he's wearing his own jersey. I'm like, well, yeah, no one else has it.
Yeah. That was so embarrassing. But hey, you set me up for that because you're like, hey, I'm going to wear something funny. So then I thought, okay, I wasn't sure, black and white. So I wasn't sure if it was going to be, dressed up, and I don't actually.
Well, no, I said I was thinking about what my idea is, but when I went to do it, the guy said he couldn't get it done. So that's my next year outfit.
Yeah. So he comes with a brand new white tuxedo.
No, it's white suit, not a tuxedo.
White suit, looking sharp. Yeah, you look good. And then I come in there with my own jersey with people I don't know.
But it was very unique. No one else had one.
I felt like a tool. But anyway, great. That was a great time.
Yeah, it's totally fine. You look at it tonight, and you mentioned it's excitement, but you've been in the playoffs. They say there's no momentum from game to game, and I think there's some truth to that, but. Like you look at Edmonton and they're like, okay, here we are. They've shown it all year long that they're a team that can bounce back when things don't go their way. And they've done that on multiple occasions. Florida's obviously been a very good team. They haven't had a huge amount of adversity this year. I think they lost. They've actually, Craig Simpson told, they lost 4 in a row once this season. So, that's really about it for them, right? Yeah. Like they were a pretty good team. Their adversity to them was more about injuries, right? They didn't have Montour. They didn't have Ekblad, so they overcame that. And now they're healthy. You wonder, okay, Edmonton's beat us twice. You don't feel bad because you're like, well, we're still up in the series. But when do you think it trickles in like, maybe we're starting to lose hold of this series? Like if Edmonton scores first, do you think does self-doubt creep in a game as a player?
I think there has to be. I mean, I think every coach and team right now is trying to instill trying to get some belief into their team and the adversity, like you said, through the injuries that Florida had, they're kind of drawing on some of those challenges to build them up and make them feel confident. And the Oilers on the opposite. I mean, they were dead and out as Connor said, and you look at what they've done, whether it's momentum or it's just belief, right? There's belief now in this team. Last time I was on this radio show, there wasn't a whole lot of belief, at least, even from myself, to be honest with you. And I imagine a bunch of other fans,
because they were down 0-3.
They were down 0-3. And I was kind of like, whoa. And the way they were playing, there wasn't a whole lot of hope, but now they have some belief. They're playing, they're playing with some confidence. McDavid's obviously doing McDavid things, and there's still a chance, that, Draisaitl is going to find his game. So, it's exciting. I just think the Oilers right now have faced so much more real adversity, and now they're and like McDavid said, like they're playing with not a whole lot of pressure, but as they've put back-to-back games, their belief is so much, I feel, bigger right now I would think, as a player.
Yeah.
And
I
maybe Florida right now.
I believe that I had two former players, one who won a Stanley Cup, said, you can't, it's hard to properly articulate the value and the power of belief, like true belief. When you're just like, you know what? The Oilers are a good team. So they've been a good team all year. So you have that and you look around the room. Hey, we got an elite center. We got another elite center. We got an elite defenseman or two. And, hey, look at our penalty kill is elite. So you have that. And Stuart Skinner in games 5, 6, and 7s of series has been elite. So there's lots of it. We have a coach who's won a cup, and we have lots of guys in the room, 5 of them who've been to a Stanley Cup final. Now they're into game 6 of the final, so I think they've got enough experience about the situation per se. So it was interesting talking to them because he said he's been on it on both sides. He won a cup and he lost a cup. Yeah. And when he lost a cup, he goes, you know what? You could feel it, even though you try not, you block it out, but it comes back and you're just like, oh my God, I'm not sure we can do this. And it was very, you try, and he said at the time, you try everything in your power to block that out, but it's hard.
Yeah. When you feel good as an athlete, and any elite athlete, or maybe just every athlete in himself, when you start to feel good about your game, and you feel it coming, it's contagious. And you look at, what Connor McDavid said, as far as dragging him back to Alberta, just his spirit and his belief and the way he's playing is, he's not just dragging Florida back. He's dragging everyone into this fight with him. But you cannot undervalue what it means to feel good about yourself and to feel good about your game. And I think that's one of the things that Chris Knobloch has done since he's got to Edmonton, is just, bring that confidence and belief back in each individual, Coffey being a part of that as well. And we're seeing that. I mean, Connor Brown is no better example of a guy that, whether it was injury or whatever, when things snowball negatively, in a negative way, it's hard. It's hard to grind out. It's hard to work your way through that, So he's obviously, he looks different out there. No. He probably feels different about himself in every way, on the ice, in the dressing room, how everything about him is different. And that's how I feel the Oilers feel as a whole, individually and as a team. And it's scary because you got this player doing amazing things, and then we got probably arguably the second best player playing well, but not even to his capabilities. If he catches fire tonight, wow, that could be dangerous.
Yeah, and I wonder how hard it's going to be for Draisaitl, because now he'll never use an excuse, but he's banged up. Multiple sources got 2 different injuries that he's dealing with, right?
Yeah.
And obviously it's not enough to keep him out of the lineup, but we saw what he played with in 2022. He's got a pretty high pain threshold. Yeah. And I look at Tkachuk, and anybody who, even Oilers fans who despise him, would look and say, well, once he scored that goal, all of a sudden after that, Tkachuk was way more noticeable, right? And I wonder about Draisaitl, that if he gets a goal, if all of a sudden, even him, who maybe, because he's hard on himself, he always has been, he admits it, like Dylan Holloway had a really funny line today. He's like, you know what? Yeah, but he's got to remember when he's hard on himself, that even when he's hard on himself, even when he's not at his best, he's still better than 99% of the guys out there, right? And he said it with a smile on his face, because there's obviously some truth to that. And I'm not sure that Draisaitl is like, oh, that's how I'm going to think. But if Draisaitl doesn't have to be McDavid dominant, he just, you score a key goal and all of a sudden you feel part of it, because the Oilers have had, and this is where I chuckled still, and I argued this at every series. Then people kept talking about depth. The Oilers have no depth. And as good as McDavid's been, I think people forget, McDavid didn't make an appearance in game 4 until it was 3-1. Right? The Oilers were up 3-1. Janmark and Brett, that line got the Oilers into the game. Yeah. And then McDavid was good. And then last game, again, it was shorthanded. Then McDavid took the game over and was unbelievable. But the Oilers have 13 different scores in 5 games, Brownie. That doesn't happen very often, that 13 guys in a 5-game span on your team score. And by the way, Draisaitl doesn't have a goal out of those players, right? And so it's not like it's like that's 14 guys if you look at key players on your team that have scored. So, if he scores, all of a sudden you're like, oh, geez, potentially where do they go?
But I think too, maybe Draisaitl isn't playing up to his capabilities, but I don't think
he's not
playing
bad.
poorly.
No, he's not playing poorly. That's
and like
there's
said,
2
his
different
poorly
things.
would be my great, right? So, he's still changing the dynamics of how the Florida has to play and how they deploy certain
like
players and matchups and so on. But a couple of those goals go in off of the post. He's like you said, he could be a different player. It's not that he's not getting his chances; they're just not going in. So I don't know if he's playing, as poorly as maybe some people may think. I just think some of the chances that typically some of the shots that he takes that normally find a way into the net aren't going in. There was that one time where he had a shot off to the side of the net there and usually gets a little bit more on it that he didn't get as much, which maybe, did he fan on it? Is there something wrong with his wrist? I'm not sure. I just don't, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see when this is all over. It's always interesting to see what injuries, where guys were at injury wise.
Yeah.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he didn't have as big. He's nicked up with something because they all are.
I think he's got a back injury.
Really, I just don't think it's going to be as big of a deal as we think.
No. But if it's enough to slow you down a bit, and if it's something that I think it's impacting his shot, because his best weapon on that power play is his ability to elevate the shot quickly, and he hasn't been to. So when I'm thinking, what's going to limit you in your ability to roof the puck quickly? It sounds like a simple thing, Brownie, but when that's one of your, guys can't, we've seen it when he scores from there. It's like the goalie the goalie's in position and he puts it in the spot where it's impossible to stop.
So, we're not used to these. It's like a pro golfer when they flub it. That just doesn't happen. We're so used to him being close to perfect that, when he's not, whoa.
Yeah, well, confidence. But the other thing is he's out shooting the opposition 5-on-5.
Yeah.
He was even, and the only game that he's actually been outscored 5-on-5 was the game they won, which was last game. So he hasn't been like a negative drain on the team by any stretch. But when you hold yourself to that high of a standard, and Draisaitl will be the first one to tell you, hey, look at when the Oilers power play is rolling the best, who's the finisher? It's Leon Draisaitl. He scores all the power play goals. So, it's not a surprise to me that they didn't, they haven't scored as much lately because 29 isn't scoring.
But isn't this what it's about? Like when he is so-called struggling, Connor Brown,
that's what you need.
And that's what you need. These guys are taking steps. The one thing, obviously he didn't have a great regular season and he's having an outstanding playoff. Does that change how you feel about him moving forward next year? Are we watching him? Are we watching McLeod? Are we watching Holloway? Obviously Bouchard. I feel like we're watching them grow right in front of our eyes with all this, adversity and scenarios, Stuart Skinner being a big one. I just, not only do they have to be in the position where they're in this year, but they're we want them, if hopefully they win the Stanley Cup, but if they don't, we want them to be in a situation to be battling it for it next year. And with what everyone's doing depth wise, young guys, Skinner,
Broberg, Holloway,
Broberg is a great, man, it gives you a lot of, I don't, how could you not be exciting and proud to think where we are at now and where we are going in the future?
Sean Brown, Jason Gregor with you. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. You can get involved. You can text us 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. When we return, we will hear from George Richards on the Florida side of things, the lineup changes for them. How's the impact going to be? And George knows that team very well. He's covered them for a long time. Wants to get a sense of where they're at confidence-wise, belief-wise, etc. That's coming up next on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Picture a chill summer moment. Now add a McFlurry. Nice, right? Now add the new strawberry cheesecake McFlurry with real strawberry pieces and cheesecake flavored cookie dough.
Oh, God, yeah.
Super chill. Available for a limited time at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
Move Water is your one-stop shop for all things water. From freshwater to wastewater, we've got the pumps and solutions to keep your water moving where it matters most.
Move Water, your water solution experts.
Visit movewater.ca today.
When you want to recognize the top performer on your team, come create memorable and customized trophies and awards with Elite Promotional Marketing. Elite's in-house design team will help you achieve your corporate award goal. Head to ElitePromoMarketing.com.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Gather around the radio, kiddies, for the best time of day. It's Oodle Noodle time. Listen in this week as your noodle hero battles the barbarous Bobby Burger. Now sing along. You know the words.
Noodle noodle time. Noodle noodle time.
You know what time it is now. Get up and give me your best Oodle Noodle dance. Your best time of day is
Noodle noodle time.
The Toronto Blue Jays are on Sports 1440 every weekend. Catch all the action with play-by-play announcer Ben Schulman. The Blue Jays this Saturday and Sunday on Sports 1440, Edmonton's home for all things sports.
0% for 60 months. I'm not kidding. Where? Wolf GMC Buick. And it's GMC's Adventure Calls event. Pick out a new 2024 Sierra with finance rates as low as 0% for up to 60 months. If you're a Costco member, you get another $1,200 off purchase price on any 2024 in-stock Sierra. We're talking half tons, 3/4 tons, even 1 tons. If you'd rather an SUV, we've got low lease payments and an awesome selection on GMC Terrain. So get in today and get your adventure on. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is On the Rocks. Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
I'm Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. And I'm Zach Hyman. And when we're not making juicy, sweet passes or having my goals disallowed, we're working for Legacy Heating and Cooling. You know, guys used to call me a plumber, and now they call you an AC repairman. Nice.
Hey, guys, you're not here to fix air conditioners. You're here to sing the jingle.
Oh.
Well.
Okay. Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
No payments and no interest for 1 year from qualified installers. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
The Friday continues on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook, as always presented by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca. Get in the game at PlayAlberta.ca. Use the promo code Gregor50. Ends at the playoffs, so get it in this weekend. You have until Monday. PlayAlberta.ca. Promo code is Gregor50, and you get a $50 free play with a minimum $5 deposit. The Oilers and the Panthers, Game 6. Tonight, and hey, you want to be here, you want to get some great seats to watch a game. Maybe you're unlucky, you can't go to the game. Well, come here to On the Rocks, Jasper Ave, 118. Sean Brown's actually got a table reserved. You'll be watching the game here tonight, eh, Brown?
Yeah, I got a buddy in town, flew in this morning. He's got the old McDavid. He refused to wear my jersey.
So he flew in town just for the game?
Yeah, he's a diehard Oiler fan. So we've been talking about this for a little bit, and then he finally pulled the trigger last night. Flights were a little expensive, but hey, I guess you live once.
Yeah, why not?
So yeah, we're gonna check it out.
Okay.
My wife's over there.
Yeah,
just
nice.
staring at me there.
Yeah, just pacing itself. Oh, jeez. Yeah. Wondering, geez, that shirt's a little tight. Let's get to the oil report now, brought to you by VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, Canada's #1 Volvo dealership, with 13 years Excellence Award winners in sales and service. And great deals right now on Volvo XC60 recharge plug-in hybrids with over $6,000 in savings right now at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. As we welcome back from Florida Hockey Now, George Richards, longtime beat reporter for the Panthers. George, you've been there when the Panthers weren't very good, and now obviously for the last 3 years, have been one of the best franchises in the National Hockey League. They had the 3-0 lead. Now it's down to 3-2. Paul Maurice, he admitted that, Game 4 for him, this guy's coached how many games, but Game 4 was the first time in his life where he woke up thinking, geez, I could win a Stanley Cup today. Never felt that. And, so there is that human element. Where do you feel they're at having lost 2 in a row? Do you get the sense this is a real confident group, or is there a little bit of the Oilers maybe have a mental advantage heading into Game 6?
Well, yeah. Paul and the Panthers are saying all the right things, but that's just human nature, right? You've got the opportunity not only in Game 4, but Game 5 in Sunrise, and the Oilers get the win and keep the season going. And now we're back up in Edmonton for Game 6. Yeah, I would think that they've got their attention for sure. If they didn't before, they do now, right?
Yeah. Matthew Tkachuk scored that goal, George, and all of a sudden after that, he looked like a different player. Like, he looked like the player I think they'd wanted in the first 4 games. They put Rodrigue with him and Bennett, and I wonder how much of that is due to them expecting that line to go up against McDavid. And when Rodrigue's on that line, they've had way more success. I get it's a small sample size, but for whatever reason, when Verhaeghe's on that line in this series, they've been getting crushed.
Yeah, no, they weren't generating a whole lot of anything, right? So Evan Rodriguez having a whale of a series. Great postseason for Florida. One of the reasons why they brought him in as a free agent. And, like Paul said, Rodriguez kind of helped get that goal by Tkachuk started. And that line was really noticeable through the rest of the way. So they're going to roll with it again. Rodriguez has played with everybody on the Panthers this year. He's played on all 4 lines. He's played on the left side, the right side, doesn't matter. Very adaptable guy. And you talk about a guy who's feeling it right now, it's him.
George, you follow the Florida and very familiar with them. Is there anything tonight that you see in their game that might concern you, or anything that you're looking to see from them in tonight's matchup?
I think they just need to, continue the way they were playing in the third period of Game 5, kind of what we talked about the third period of Game 3 for Edmonton, right? It kind of changed the tenor of things. That third period was the best period in a long time for Florida. Edmonton had won seven periods in a row where they were the dominant team, and then Florida was able to get something going. Didn't get enough, couldn't get that goal past Skinner to tie it up, but as far as what the power play obviously hasn't been doing anything. They need to get that going. And, the top 6 really needs to step up and play the way that the Panthers know they can.
George Richards joins us. George, how much of the goals do you put on, just sometimes, hey, McDavid's been great. The Oilers have been a good offensive team all year long. There's Bobrovsky, the Panthers defense, because a lot of teams, they weren't able to score in the Panthers. Now, the Panthers never faced McDavid or an offensive team like the Oilers. So what do you make of this, sudden, surge in offense from the Oilers? How much of it is Florida maybe getting away from what's worked for them defensively?
Well, in Game 4, it was a lot of odd man rushes, which we hadn't seen a lot from Florida. I think Game 5, Edmonton did a great job of creating traffic around the net. Sergei Bobrovsky wasn't seeing a lot of stuff clean. You had the one goal by that beautiful goal by McDavid, the assist anyway, right in front of the net. So he gets the shorthanded breakaway, just gets beat. I think some of the goals are on Bob for sure, but I didn't think he played a bad game in Game 5 by any stretch of the imagination. I think, like you said, this is the best offensive team Florida has faced in the postseason by a long shot. And it offers a lot of challenges, especially when you've got that kind of firepower and you've got that generational talent in McDavid. He's a tough guy to contain, and Florida was able to do it for the first 3. and now we've seen what he's done in the past two, with 8 points. So, just trying to contain McDavid and hope for the best there.
George, what can you say about Paul Maurice? And I mean, I'm sure he's been a joy to work with from the media side. Is there anything you can see in his demeanor, or you touched on it that he's saying all the right things right now? But have you picked up on anything from your point of view? Has anything changed in his demeanor or approach?
Well, he was a little sour after Game 5, but then, the next day he was back to his normal self. And he's a guy that doesn't seem to get too high or too low. And I think that has served the Panthers very well. He's a guy that the Panthers, kind of emulate. I mean, he is a fiery guy at times, but it's nothing like crazy. In rare occasion, we've seen the F-bomb, things and that kind of thing. But no, he's been fun. And I think, he wants these guys to appreciate the moment and where they're at and what's going on, and to kind of soak it all in. And be grateful that, not a lot of guys get this opportunity, and they've been in these finals the past 2 years, and last year still nicks at them. Florida, that was a painful series against Vegas last year, and they vowed they didn't want to have that feeling again. And they've got an opportunity tonight to kind of rectify that.
George Richards joins us, beat reporter for the Florida Panthers. George, you mentioned it was painful last year. They didn't score a goal, power play goal for 14. This year they're 1 for 16. They moved Oliver Ekman-Larsson to the first unit, and like their power play was, it wasn't dominant all year. It's 23%, which isn't bad, but in the first 3 rounds of the playoffs was pretty solid. And now, give Edmonton's penalty kill some credit, but what have you seen that's suddenly just not happening on their man advantage? And do you see any similarities to last year's Cup final on the power play?
Well, part of it is, let's give Edmonton's penalty kill a lot of credit, right? Coming into this series, I think everybody wanted to look at those gaudy power play numbers for the Oilers, but really the penalty kill was just absolutely fantastic at the end of that Vancouver series and all of Dallas. So, they've been doing a real good job of bottling Florida up. They're contesting every pass. Florida is very quick about moving the puck around, and Edmonton's been able to get the sticks in there. They've been able to disrupt things, and Florida really hasn't had any clean looks. I think when you look at Oliver Ekman-Larsson, he's got a real good shot from the point. I think you're going to see more point shots. See if you can get some loose pucks around the net, maybe some deflections, that kind of thing. Just anything right now for Florida on the power play would be welcomed. I mean, the only goal they've got, I believe it was Game 3 by Evan Rodriguez. And I think that was a deflection. I don't even remember, but you've got to just get something to get that thing going, to feel good about it. And for goodness sakes, stop giving up the shorthanded goals. I mean, they've given up 5 this postseason and 2 in the past 2 games. So you got to stop that.
Yeah. Wow. And so Montour coming off of that top unit, how much of it was the pass that Brown knocked down? How much of it is the fact that up until that point and even afterwards, they only have 1 power play goal?
I think it's a combination, right? I mean, you need a new look. OEL ran the power play for the first 15, 18 games of the season when Brandon Montour was out from that off-season surgery. And the power play would look pretty good with Oliver Ekman-Larsson running it. So he's done a good job on power play 2. That was power play 2 is what scored the goal for Florida with Rodriguez. So just gives Florida a different look. It's a left-handed shot as opposed to Montour, who's right. So kind of maybe changes some things around, but nothing earth-shattering. Edmonton's not quaking in their boots right now, thinking, "Oh man, what are they doing?" They'll figure it out.
George, it looks like Nick Cousins is going to get in the lineup tonight. What could we expect from Nick Cousins coming in?
A lot of energy, a lot of speed. The guy hasn't played a month. I mean, he's been chomping at the bit. He's one of their vocal guys. Florida's deep, right? That's one thing that coming into this postseason as opposed to last year, Florida's much deeper. And they had Ryan Lomberg and Nick Cousins sit out the first 4 games of this series, and Lomberg got in for 5. Tonight they'll both be in there on that 4th line. So Florida will have a lot of checking on that 4th line. And I'll tell you what, Nick Cousins has a little bit of skill. He can score. So that gives that fourth line maybe a little added dimension. So maybe Florida's able to get some secondary scoring if they can get that line to do anything. So, time will tell. We'll see.
George, we'll see you at the rink, man. Enjoy Game 6. Should be a heck of an atmosphere.
All right. We'll see you later.
There you go. That's George Richards from Florida now. And 5 shorthanded goals in the playoffs. Like, obviously, that's, it didn't hurt them in the other series. And, you can argue that so far it hasn't hurt them other than allowing Edmonton back in. But, because you think about it, it's the first goal in both games. And when we talk about the importance of the first goal, I believe, Brownie, when the first goal is a shorthanded goal, I think it's almost like a value of 1.5. Like, I do believe it is a little bit more. You saw the video on the bench when Brown scored and Hyman, the whole bench is going crazy. Like, obviously you get excited after every goal, but I just think it's a little bit different. And they're like, if the Oilers take an early penalty, which they would like to avoid, but if they do, they're going to, how it is. Like, when the penalty comes, like, the penalty killers they're like, they can't wait to get over, where if you're getting scored on, you're just like, oh God, we got to go, right? Like, it's such a mental difference when your penalty kill is going.
Oh yeah. Especially in the playoffs and this big of a environment, when you get a shorthanded goal is gigantic. But, when you get a shorthanded goal by a deaf player and Brown, combined with that is, when McDavid scores, yes, it's exciting, right? But it happens quite a bit, right? When Brown or someone role player scores, so not only is it big to score shorthanded, but when role players score, it injects some enthusiasm, some juice, whether it's 5-on-5 or 5-on-4. It's just exciting, right? So
I get it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about who's the most juiced up when Sean Brown scored. Coming up, 833-401-1440 in our inbox, your partner in power for all things electrical, ewel.ca. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown with you. We are inching. The line is like, my buddy sent me a picture. He's in line at the Moss Pit. If you're planning on going, you better get there now. That's all I'm going to say, because the line is already like 3 blocks long just to get in. The people are fired up. And, he's listening in line. So shout out to all those who are listening in line at the Moss Pit right now here on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook at sports1440.ca. Quick break. We'll come back. We got a lot of text to get to. We'll talk about some of those role player celebrations and more. Also, we'll hear from Dylan Holloway, Leon Draisaitl, and much, much more in a busy pre-game 6 edition of the Gregor Show, live and on the Rocks, Jasper Ave, on 118th Street.
Let's do this, Edmonton.
For the empty net. Takes off off the goal line. Rebound, David fires and scores. And there will be a game 6 of the Stanley Cup final.
This is Sports 1440.
What's cracking at Cattail? Their men's league. Play 18 holes for 18 weeks on Tuesdays from 2 to 6 p.m. Then complete the day and head to Out of Bounds, recently ranked one of Canada's top 10 in fine dining restaurants. For details, visit cattailcrossing.ca.
Hi, it's Jason Gregor. We're looking for an experienced salesperson to join us as we continue to grow the Sports 1440 brand across the province. Of course, you'll sell Mornings with Carius, Low Tide Show, The Frenzy, as well as my show. No radio sales experience is needed, but you need some sales experience. You have to love sports, and you must be a hunter and driven. The base salary plus commissions for this great opportunity, and trust me, you'll have loads of fun working with us. Email your resume to Gregor at sports1440.ca. We look forward to having you on the team. Hi, Jason Gregor for Volvo of Edmonton. This summer, lease a new 2024 Volvo XC60 with 0% finance, or save up to $6,500 on select models for qualifying loyal customers. Plus a free 10-year, 1 million kilometer warranty with all demo vehicles. And if you're thinking hybrid, save $6,000 off all 2024 new and demo XC60 Recharge plug-in models. Discover why we're Canada's only 13-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. 1205 101st Street Southwest, or visit volvocarsedmonton.com.
Black Friday pricing is back at the Brick. Check out the latest deals in every department, as well as hot new items just in time for summer. This Friday, June 21st, from 5 p.m. to midnight only, shop incredible 7-hour door crasher deals, like 65% off sofas when you buy the matching love seater chair, and 50% off mattresses $9.99 or more. Take advantage of these fabulous deals today, because Black Friday pricing won't last forever. Some exclusions apply. The Brick, saving you more.
The cheesy burger pizza is back at Papa John's. See what happens when you ask for it? Boom! Finally, it's on the menu again for a limited time. Get all the items in the cheesy burger trio or choose between the large cheesy burger pizza for $18.99, cheesy burger papadilla for $9.99, and bacon cheesy burger Papa Bites for $8.99. All made with sizzling beef, dilly pickles, ooey gooey cheese, and burger sauce. That's right, burger sauce. Get it before it's gone. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some cheesy burger pizza at Papa John's.
My utility bills are going through the roof. How can I take advantage of the sun and put my lazy roof to work?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Energy team reporting. When you're ready to make your home or business more efficient, Action Electrical has the power to install solar panel systems and EV chargers.
Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta with supercharged skills and strong family values. ActionElectrical.net.
Mr. Ruther does a TED Talk.
Thank you for coming today. Let's talk about it. Pressure. Everyone in this room feels pressure. But let me tell you something about pressure. I'd rather feel too much pressure than not enough. You know why? Because low pressure often means you have corroded pipes, impaired water lines, or a calcified shower head. And who needs that? I'm Mr. Ruda, and this has been my TED Talk.
For an inspirational plumber, call Mr. Ruther.
Wendy's Small Frosty is the ultimate summer refreshment. And not because it's cool and creamy and made with fresh Canadian dairy. It's also refreshingly cheap, just 99 cents until July 14th. It's a treat for you and your wallet. Taxes extra at participating Wendy's.
It's time to embrace the drive and comfort and luxury at Buick. Right now, finance the 2023 Envision at 3.99% for up to 48 months. With Envision's available 2-liter turbocharged Ecotec engine, available adaptive cruise control, plus available panoramic power moonroof and impressively stylish exterior. From downtown shopping to out-of-town exploring, people will be turning heads. I mean, can you blame them? Visit your local Buick dealer for details.
Wendy's Small Frosty is the ultimate summer refreshment. And not because it's cool and creamy and made with fresh Canadian dairy. It's also refreshingly cheap, just 99 cents until July 14th. It's a treat for you and your wallet. Taxes extra at participating Wendy's.
Positive Friday rolls along. Edmonton Sports Leader, TSN 1260. How you doing? Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, coming to you live at On the Rocks, Jasper Ave, and 118th Street, to where, hey, stop in like everywhere in the city, I'm sure, but even better, people filing in. Everybody's getting ready. You're down to about 2.5 hours from puck drop. I think it's safe to say, as much as people were excited and anticipating other games, this is the most anticipated game in Edmonton until Game 7. If there is a Game 7, then it'll be even bigger. But tonight, there's just, there's lots of people going to the game. So obviously, there'll be some, obviously, the watch party. But it's a little bit different of a feel, I think, downtown. There's lots of excitement. And, everywhere you go, like, hey, how you doing? And then the first question, what do you think's going to happen? Like everybody, it doesn't matter where you go. Yeah. Like I literally, I went to the, I was in line this morning. I had to go deliver I had a package mailing. So I'm just waiting in line. This person, I don't know them. They don't know me. Yeah. I'm just standing there and they're talking. It's like, oh, pretty big game tonight, eh? And I'm like, oh yeah. And they're just like, well, what do you think's going to happen? And I'm always, well, what do you think's going to happen? Like but it's funny. Like it's all everybody's talking about. I think if you're not talking about the game right now, you either hate sports or you're kind of just oblivious to the situation.
It's amazing. It sucks everybody, the casual fan, into it. Oh. It just gives us. I love what it's done. I love what the Oilers have done with the Moss Pit, the different watch parties to draw in young kids adults, everyone of all ages,
like
and
young teenagers. This is
are living their best life
yeah.
right now. The weather's great. School's ending. They're all. It's a big party where everyone's invited.
Were you chaperoning? Did you drop kids off there again today?
I didn't today just because we came so early. But my daughter.
Well, they probably would have had to go early if they want to get in. By the sounds of it.
Yeah, I should probably let her know. But they are making. My daughter is making her way down. Not so sure about my son, what he's doing. They're at my house. If you're at my house, keep it clean, keep it on the rails. But yeah, so I don't know where he's going to go. But I just, the fact that just this bar is going to be rocking, right? It gets everyone out, gets everyone talking. Everyone's in a great mood.
Well, just think about what the Friday, if the Oilers win tonight, like the vibe in this pretty good and exciting. When the game's over and they win, then the vibe just ratchets it up.
Oh.
It's like a midnight busy at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Right. And then it lasts, and then you got like 5 hours still.
And because it's such a beautiful day and it doesn't get dark here until 10:30, 11 o'clock,
amazing.
it's going to be buzzing like White Ave, downtown, the party. I can't imagine a whole lot of work getting done right now on a Friday on a beautiful day. Everyone's probably pre-drinking and getting ready for this thing tonight.
Hey guys, I was in Creston, BC this morning, and the only positive thing I knew that was I would make it back to grab your pregame show before the game tonight from Can Crush. Attaboy, Can Crush. We like it. Little pregame excitement. We'll get to lots more things. We got a lot of texts. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. And Cons, do you have the Leon Draisaitl comments?
I do. Yes.
All right. Okay. Because Leon Draisaitl was asked, where does he feel his game is at right now?
Is he not happy with the way I'm playing? Haven't found my game. Haven't found my legs, and just not the standard that I hold myself to, obviously. But excited to come into the series tonight. It's me. I've always been able to come back from stretches where, I maybe haven't been at my best. And it's just myself, being better. And like I said, I hold myself to extremely high standards. And if I don't get to that, obviously, I'm not happy with it. So like I said, very excited to come into it tonight.
He holds himself to a very high standard. And, the thing that I've always respected about Draisaitl is and to be honest here, you look at Draisaitl there. Hey, what do you think about your game? And you compare it to the response you had from Darnell Nurse early in the playoffs, it's night and day. And now some would say, hey, Darnell hasn't been hammered on about his contract. Okay, sure. But the thing was, Nurse wasn't even asked about it. But anyway, the point is, here's a guy who just calmly says, yeah, my game's not where I want it to be. Trying to find my game. I have really high standards. Doesn't mention his injuries as an excuse, even though we know he's injured. And, people talk about, well, just, if he don't try the backhand passes, but that's Draisaitl's game, right? Like what makes Draisaitl so great is he can make plays that no one else can make. And so if they're not going for a game or two, you don't ask him to stop because that's not who he is, right? Like, sure, you want to be wise. And sometimes it's, hey, every now and then, make the right play. I understand it, but Draisaitl completes more really, because the problem is when he makes a good pass, no one's like, hey, great pass. They're just like, well, I expect him to make it.
Yeah.
Right. And so when he misses one, it's like, oh my, don't ever do that again. And that's just not how it works. Like I love Ron Lowe yesterday on the show, right? Like Ron Lowe said, hey, when people can play, great players give the puck away. They're going to do it lots. That's what they do. Right. And he was just like, deal with it. And this is from a coach who's in the league a long time. I think like everybody has giveaways. So if that's what you're focusing on, the one or two pass, I think you're missing. Like you can't ask a player to change what got them there. All of a sudden, you want them to maintain their confidence to believe I can make that pass because that's what I do when I'm feeling it.
That's why Bouchard obviously is in that category too, where people were complaining. But it's like, if you play just a simple game like some minor hockey coaches or some people like dump it in, dump it out, basic hockey, you'll die a slow death. Nothing.
I feel stunned when I've had kids who they move up and their parents, like the coach tells them they don't want the defenseman to cross the blue line carrying the puck. And I'm like, pardon? In what universe would a coach ever do that?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel sorry for the kid because you as a coach, you're clueless. Like, I'm sorry, you're
Yeah.
clueless to ever say that to a kid.
Your record means nothing. You're going nowhere. Let the kid encourage plays.
Well, you're
It's all-
going nowhere if you're telling your kids not to try to make plays.
Yeah, but I agree. You got to make plays, and when you're expected to make plays, some guys are expected to make more
Yes.
plays than others, and he's one of those guys that's why he makes that money. That's why he's special, because more often than not, he makes that play. So
Yes.
you have to live and die by it. I mean, I think there's quite a few players on the Oilers right now, let's be honest, that at different times they get a little bit poopy in the media, right? But the fact that he's owning that, taking that, shows a real maturity and growth. And that goes back to what I think we're watching them all grow, him included. Probably the best guy for taking complete ownership of his games and his career, to me, is Stuart Skinner.
Yeah,
Right.
that's pretty
Every
good.
time.
Oh,
I mean,
and
he's had rough times.
Yeah, but he's only 2 years in, right? And he plays a position where, like, Brownie, you could make a mistake in a game. The goalie saves you. No one really talks about the mistake after the game as much, right?
Yeah.
He makes a mistake. Boom, it's in the back of his net. And he's only, he's played 123 regular season games.
Yeah.
Only Broberg and Holloway have played fewer games on the Edmonton Oilers. And he's in a really tough position as a goaltender with all the spotlight on you. He's in his hometown. But I can tell you, like, when I loved his response yesterday when he talked about, because they showed him on the broadcast, right? Some song came on in Florida and he's bebopping along. And he's just like, hey, you know what? When I was a kid, I used to sing along to the song when I play goal, because I'm sure it's probably lonely back there. You're by yourself. What the hell else going on? But he's bopping along. It's like, dude, like, I'm a Stanley Cup fan. And like, some people say things and you think they just say because they read it in a book and they feel like that's the thing to say.
Yeah.
But Skinner actually lives and breathes his real positive outlook. And hey, I didn't play well tonight. Like, the Tampa Bay game is the one that stands out to me, when Vasilevsky was standing on his head, and the Oilers lost 7-4, and they outshot him, I think 56 to whatever, 22.
Yeah.
And Skinner let in a few that he didn't want it back. And afterwards the game, he goes, everybody in this room should feel good about their game except me. I didn't play well.
Yeah.
No sugarcoating it, just boom, I didn't play well. And guess what? That doesn't mean I won't play well the next game.
Yeah.
I can talk openly about me not playing well. It doesn't mean I don't believe I can't play well again. I actually believe I'm going to play well again. And he moves on from it. It's a really good example, I think, for more people to look and say, hey, you can acknowledge you had a bad game, but then it's done. You don't have to beat the guy down over and over and then repeat it 100 times.
And exactly. I agree 100%. I mean, any young kid watching, if that's what you want to pay attention to, is that positivity. But I think people don't realize how motivated and how driven these guys are just to even get to this level. Like, none of these guys wake up at any point in their day or go on the ice at any point thinking, wow, I'm going to mess up today, and how, I'm going to screw this up, or I'm not going to win. These guys care. If you think that we're, motivated and passionate about winning, these guys are 9 times more motivated and driven than we are. Right. So they feel it. I remember,
like, who is the guy you played with who you were just like, oh my God, like, I thought I was pretty competitive, but this guy was a new level for you?
Not so much competitive. The one guy that he was, competitive, but the one guy that I thought that the one thing I struggled with is just the consistency and, the highs and lows and managing that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was, a battle. And I continually worked on that throughout my whole career. And the one guy that surprised me that I thought struggled with it more than I did, that had a really good career, was Jeff Hackett, the goalie.
Really?
Yeah. I could not believe the amount of pressure that he put on himself. And his, like, sometimes, like, when you, big games like this, you're gonna, maybe, I guess you don't want to change your routine, to be honest with you, just because of the magnitude of the game. The important thing is to consistently stay with your routine.
Yes.
Right. But sometimes you get a little bit jazzed up. Obviously, it's only normal. But I found that the big, certain games in certain situations, because he was struggling, he was almost putting too much in it, and you could see him overthinking it.
Right.
And, I spent a lot of time with him at the rink, and we spent a lot of time outside talking. And I just remember looking at him and thinking, wow, I can't believe you played in the league this long and you're still battling it.
Yeah.
Talent, obviously you got to be talented and driven to get to the NHL. But, this sports psychologist that the Oilers brought in, and
George,
and it's just untouched where we're at and how important that is.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter whether you're a minor hockey kid or you're an NHL hockey player. Like, when you get to the top, everyone pretty much skates this game, shoots it, and very similar. Like the one-offs of McDavid and that are just super, normal. But, what separates you is how you think. And man, my wife would tell you that there was too many nights where I would come home after a game, and there were sometimes I wouldn't even sleep, right? Because I'd just be rehearsing and going over the game. But as you get a little bit older and, a little bit more mature, you start to let things go and you find better ways of handling it. But, just because holding on to it longer, just because you're, pissed off or you show that you're angry, towards the media or in an interview, doesn't mean you care more than Stuart Skinner.
Yes.
Right? Like,
totally
Stuart
agree.
Skinner is up there, Mr. Positive.
Yeah,
you don't think that's not eating him?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Like, so I always, people are like, you got to be mad. That shows you care.
No.
And I'm like, it's the biggest
Opposite.
fault.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
I would totally agree with that. Like that. It's kind of like the person who, bad things happen. They're slamming the boards. Oh, look, he cares. I'm like, no, he doesn't care, or she doesn't care any more than anyone. In fact, her emotions are now winning because they've gotten the best of her and you can't control.
I always tell kids it's an emotional game. You got to play with emotion, but you can't get emotional, right? And so, at a young age, because we're all looking up and idolizing these players, sometimes you see them smash a stick or throw a water
If it's
bottle.
once in a blue moon, I always tell myself,
Yeah.
okay, that happened once. How
Yeah.
many other times did they not do it?
Yeah. And you look at, especially with young kids, it's like, okay, you showed that emotion. And now I'm watching your practice habits and watching where you're going from here. And it's getting significantly worse.
Oh, okay.
Right. So it's not like it's working for you.
Yeah, it's
right. So
working.
I got to stop them. I'm like, how's your practice going right now? Not good. Yeah. Well, change the way you're thinking. You're beating the crap out of yourself right now. So
Yeah.
why would it go better?
Yeah.
Let the coach challenge you. Let him, be hard on you or tell you maybe something, you need to. But if you're constantly beating yourself up, like, no, who's going to put you back together?
Yeah, I like that, actually. That's very smart. If you're beating yourself up, who's putting you back together? Because if you don't put yourself back together,
nobody is.
It's really hard to do it. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Let's get to the con man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire, more than just tires. But right now, they're just like you. They're huge hockey fans, and you know what? Every Fountain Tire location is wishing the very best to the Oilers. Go Oilers, go from fountaintire.com.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
It's game day. The Edmonton Oilers in action tonight, taking on the Florida Panthers. Game 6 of the Stanley Cup final down at the Ice District. Puck drop set for 6:20. Panthers leading the series 3-2. Some movement for the Panthers. Nick Cousins drawing into the lineup. Kyle Okposo coming out for the Oil. Head coach Chris Knobloch saying Evander Kane looked good on the ice. Is feeling much better. It'll be a game-time decision. Colorado Avalanche forward Andrew Cogliano announced his retirement today after 17 seasons in the NHL. Of course, a former first-round pick of the Edmonton Oilers in retirement. Cogliano will be joining the Avalanche's front office. CFL Week 3 rolls on tonight. You got Winnipeg hosting BC, kickoff 6:30. Tomorrow, the Toronto Argonauts hosting the Edmonton Elks, kickoff 5 o'clock there. Major League Baseball, one final earlier today. It had the Mets beating the Cubbies 11-1. The Blue Jays are in action, taking on the Cleveland Guardians. First pitch set for 5:10. These two teams meet tomorrow and Sunday. You can hear both those games right here on Sports 1440 radio feed, 2:10 tomorrow and 11:40 on Sunday. Copa America tonight, Peru takes on Chile. That'll get going at 6 o'clock down in Arlington, Texas. At the Euros, you had Ukraine doubling up Slovakia 2-1. Poland falls to Austria 3-1. And France and Netherlands scoreless draw. The Edmonton Riverhawks kicking off a weekend series in Kamloops before heading home. That'll get going tonight just after 8 o'clock. And in the WNBA, you got Caitlin Park and the Fever taking on Tina Charles and the Dream. Tip-off 5:30. At 8 o'clock, the Aces hosting the 13-1 Connecticut Sun. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Craig Button from the NHL on TSN and the last 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Finals fever is here, and it's all about the Oilers.
We're boosting your odds and enhancing your parlays on all playoff games. Every bet on any game enters you into a draw to win seats for the 2024-25 hockey season, or 5 pairs of seats to 5 separate Oilers games for the 2024-25 season. Use promo code Gregor50 when you deposit at playalberta.ca to receive a $50 free sports bet. Join the excitement and cheer on the Oilers. Let's bring it home. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
At McDonald's, we know summer can go by quickly, so make the most of all the park hangs, beach days, sunsets, and festivals. Whew. With a $2 plus tax sundae or snack-size milkshake, or an app-exclusive $1 plus tax soft-serve cone. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada, prices exclude delivery. App download and registration required.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
The cheesy burger pizza is back at Papa John's. See what happens when you ask for it? Boom! Finally, it's on the menu again for a limited time. Get all the items in the cheesy burger trio or choose between the large cheesy burger pizza for $18.99, cheesy burger papadilla for $9.99, and bacon cheesy burger papa bites for $8.99. All made with sizzling beef, dilly pickles, ooey gooey cheese, and burger sauce. That's right, burger sauce. Get it before it's gone. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some cheesy burger pizza at Papa John's.
In 1973, deep in the basement of an Edmonton family home, an elite team of specialized forces came together to form Action Electrical.
Action Electrical Divisions, assemble!
Projects team reporting.
Service team reporting.
Testing team reporting.
Energy team reporting.
Supercharged with skills in their electrical fields and grounded by strong family values. Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Legacy Heating and Cooling Jingle auditions take 1 for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Zach Hyman. Are you ready, guys?
We were born ready. Heck yes, Nuge. Drop the beat. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. We freaking killed it, Nuge. That's what I'm talking about, Zachary Martin Hyman.
Nice guys. We're going to sell a lot of air conditioners.
Hey, doesn't Legacy offer no payments and no interest for a year on those?
Yeah. Well, thanks for the assist on the copy points there, Nuge.
It's just what I do.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
The ATV Classic is returning to Northern Bear Golf Club.
An international field of professionals
surprise.
battle it out on their path towards the PGA Tour.
$15 gets you access to the tournament, or upgrade your ticket for
On Friday, continue.
Net proceeds go to Youth on Course
I
to
have
give kids
118.
age 6 to 18 access to play golf for just $5.
Come see the future stars of the PGA Tour.
The ATV Classic at Northern Bear Golf Club.
June 27th to 30th.
Get your tickets at atbclassic.com.
It's time to embrace the drive with Chevrolet. Lease the 2024 Equinox RS from $190 bi-weekly. That's like $95 weekly at 6.9% for 60 months with $3,400 down on an ultra-low kilometer lease. With Equinox's standard Chevrolet safety assist, standard power liftgate, available panoramic sunroof, and available adaptive cruise control, you'll have everything you need and more to make this the best season ever. Visit your local Chevrolet dealer for details.
Ritchie Brothers Auctioneers presents a massive 3-day unreserved heavy equipment auction at their Niski site June 24th to 26th, 8 a.m. Live on-site and online. Heavy equipment, excavators, loaders, trucks, trailers, plus rig moving dispersal. Register to bid.
Thanks there,
free.
Jason.
Priority bids,
Big
on-site
night tonight.
viewing, registration, and timed auction.
And in a few
on
more
now.
hours, Ken
Demand
Holland
for
will
equipment is
very
strong.
calmly
Contact
walk
your
up to a
local
long
territory
table in the
manager to
Rogers Place
consign.
press
More
box,
at
pick up a tea bag,
RVauction.com.
general manager.
A few years ago, I was doing
Holland's
okay,
fine.
but the rising cost of living has made my credit card
And
bills
what-
go through the roof, and I don't know how to handle it anymore.
Times are tough. The cost of living is causing many to fall into debt through no fault of their own. It's easy to feel overwhelmed and stressed. There are options that can help you get back on your feet. My name is Parveen Middleton, and I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I can help you find a solution to become debt-free. Visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
Positive Friday continues on. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Connor Halley with you. Declan Kruger running things down here live at OTR, Jasper Ave and 118th Street. Craig Button will join us in about 15, maybe 10 minutes time. Spec, Low Tide coming up later on. We're also going to hear from Chris Knobloch, Dylan Holloway, as a young player in Dylan Holloway, who, by the way, third on the Edmonton Oilers in goals at home in the playoffs. As
I don't want that to touch my lips.
Don't worry. God, are you a germaphobe?
No,
you're the only guy who's wore that headset in like 2 years.
Yeah, Dave Lumley used this back. It's still got his saliva dried up in there. Scared what I'll get on my lips.
But honestly, but you are scared of everything. So you kind of are a little bit of a hypochondriac, aren't you? Right?
I don't know.
How did you how honestly were you able to have children? Because I can imagine the first time.
Yeah.
When I'm not your wedding night. I'm not sure if I get naked in front of you. Like, how did that work for you?
Hey, that wasn't an issue. You don't know me.
Yeah, you're like, lights are off, honey.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a blindfold on? This is perfect.
I live on an acres. Don't ever stop by my house because you don't know what you might see.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
that could be interpreted a lot of ways, farm boy? So be careful.
Okay.
You don't have any animals out there, do you?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just, but yeah, I mean, come on.
No, but let's be honest.
Upgrade this thing here. It's not even tight.
You are. Yeah, I know. You do have to fix that, but you are scared of a lot of things, which is funny to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Young Declan here admitted that he's scared of flying too. So that phobia is kind of
flying's a little different one.
Okay.
But you're scared of
I just don't want to be scared anymore. I played a game where I had to fight and do certain things.
Get that.
I'm done getting up for all that stuff.
But
I just peacefully want to live my life.
You've got punched in the face lots. Like to me, you're scared of
going.
going.
I don't want to get punched anymore.
Fair. But that headset isn't punching you, right? It's not.
Could give me a wicked cold sore or something though.
Oh man. Hey guys, speaking of headspaces, what do you think the chances are Jack Campbell can find his game again? On another note, that one comes in from Douglas. Oof. Well, I don't think he'll have the opportunity to do it in Edmonton. I think when I crunch the numbers, and especially next year, right? The cap is going up, but the Oilers are still. They got the bonus overages and everything else. If you buy out Jack Campbell, I know there's pain for the final 3 years of that contract at 1.5 in dead cap space, which is not ideal. But they'll probably look and say, hey, you know what? We made it to the Cup final with having dead cap space on a few other guys, so we could probably do it. But it'll free up, even if you have your backup in Calvin Pickard, who's on the roster right now. Right.
Yeah.
So I don't even, to me, if I add in the backup, I'm not even sure that counts anyway. So I look at it at the end of the day, you could save $2 million in cap space. And that's really the contract of Janmark and Brown, the majority of it. Because if those two guys come in at 2.2 or 3, that's basically the buyout of Jack Campbell has freed up space to re-sign them. Then you've got, Warren Fogel's money comes off the books. I don't think he's going to re-sign. Right. They might move one of their defensemen and, in CC or maybe Kulak, just when you look at numbers and everything else. And so I'd be very surprised if Campbell does it here. Now, could he do it somewhere else? Yes. Look at Calvin Pickard. Calvin Pickard spent 7 years in the minors and he was playing. Jack Campbell's numbers in the minors are pretty good. I think Jack Campbell, he'll get bought out. He'll sign on a team to be the backup at like $1 million or so. And I won't be surprised if, I'm not saying he's going to be a dominant player, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jack Campbell is a guy who gets hot. And you know what, Brownie? Maybe, for a month or two, he's playing as a starter. It won't shock me.
Yeah, I'm really glad you said that because that is so true. And you look at some of the guys, and I don't have my notes on me because this is a road trip here. But
you can bring it. See, this is called a computer. Right? I bring the computer with me.
There you go. Yeah. But there's guys on Florida right now that couldn't find a home on other teams, right? And were picked up through free agency. So,
Gustav Forsling on waivers.
Campbell, that goes for anyone. So, any athlete, as long as you have the belief and the will to put in the work and believe in yourself, you're not only just playing, for your NHL team at the in the moment, but you're, it's so well scouted, and teams can be put over the top with free agencies that, if at the end of the day, if you have that passion and that desire and you don't let it negatively beat you up, anything's possible for any athlete, right? It's not like his skills really, I don't think gonna, dry up. I think more than anything with him, it's his mental game and his approach and, the tweaks that he needs to make there. But, I've seen it personally. I remember watching Marty St. Louis in Calgary's, farm system. And I remember watching him and thinking, wow, like good player, small. And then I would have never thought he would have been the player that he turned out to be.
Yeah.
Right. But the guy grinded it out in the minors, was with a team that decided for whatever reason to not give him a chance because certain guys might have been ahead of him for certain reasons.
Higher,
right. And you just keep working, and that goes for all levels, whether, it's major, junior, it's, I love those stories, right? The Sean Thornton, the guys that just grind and work, because nothing in this game comes easy. And when you come into situations on certain teams and for whatever reason, they peg you in as a certain type of player. That's what I kind of find funny and interesting sometimes, with the Oilers. And you brought up Fogle. Like, Fogle plays different depending on what line he plays in.
Oh,
right.
course,
So now, you know what I mean? But so now he's playing with McDavid. So, hey, you can't throw pucks away. You got to hold on the pucks and you got to make plays.
You don't chip and chase
you
very
don't
often.
exactly.
Playing with him,
but he changes the mindset as soon as he gets to the third or fourth line. Like, well, why? Why? Because you're playing with certain players. You obviously have that skill and that ability, right? So to me, it's like, there's obviously more in him, and if there's more in him, there's more in Carrick, and if there's more in Carrick, there's more in on and on and on, right? So untapping that and building that belief.
It's funny you said that because when I talked to Fogle earlier this year, and he had played, was it like 3 weeks or so with Draisaitl, him and McLeod, and they got on a little bit of heater, and he goes, hey, when you play with Leon, like Leon looks at you, if you dump it in, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
We don't dump it into my line. And then when he went back, you know what, he dumped it in, and Paul Coffey went to him and he said, Warren, why are you dumping it in? You just showed me for the last 3 weeks that you can carry the puck in.
Yeah.
And it was almost like you sometimes you believe as a third line or fourth line player that you just have to chip and chase. And some coach in the room, players have said, okay, these guys do this. When you guys are on here, you do this. You should never have different rules. You got to have accountability across the board. Now, we know you can't transport the puck through the neutral zone like David, so don't try it.
Yeah.
But if you have space, carry the damn puck in and make a play, because 99% of these guys were their best players in junior, where guess what they were doing? They were carrying the puck in.
Yeah.
But I think I can see how some guys, you get to the NHL. Now, you do have to adapt your game a little bit when you know that if I'm a scorer and maybe I'm a little bit of a cheater at times, because every scorer has to cheat a little bit, and you're like, okay, now I'm a third line guy, I can't cheat.
Yeah.
So there are some things you probably have to be smarter defensively at, but offensively, you're right. You should, if you're capable of carrying the puck into the zone and making plays with Leon Draisaitl, then you should be able to carry the puck and make it the zone when you're playing with Ryan McLeod, or if you're playing with Derek Ryan.
It just goes back to the importance of the mental game, right? I mean, it's hard, man. It is so hard getting to the NHL and being like you said, I was a pretty good junior, pretty decent in the American Hockey League. You get up to the NHL and you're looking at Boris Mironov, Luke Richardson. You're like, okay, well, how do I fit in here, right? And then so, you know what, I got to try and be physical, but then how do I be physical, but then add a little bit of this to my game so I can slowly move up? And you talked about it earlier about, like, you know, what is it like scoring a big goal, or, you know, what's that feeling, sensation like? Well, it's complete joy, not only for yourself, but for the 4 other guys on the ice, because none of us want to be on the third or fourth line. Right. And so, you know, if I score, you're happy for me, but you're happy like, whoa, we're +1. He probably did something. Someone did something to be involved in it, right? It wasn't just me or anyone, you know. So
you weren't going end to end like McDavid very often.
I didn't. I tried. I took that out of my game in junior. You know. So yeah, I mean, you're so excited for so many different reasons, and part of that reason, I think, is like, hey, look at me, coach. You know, look at what we're doing.
Yeah.
Right. And you know, everyone's trying to get up to the first line. I mean. And that's what's nice about coaches that allow that growth, right? Because, you know, there has to be movement in the line. There has to be in your lineup, because there has to be competition. And when you're not going, right, and I'm going, I need to know that I have a chance to take your ice time. Right.
Mhm.
And you need to know, oh man, if I'm not going today, if I'm not,
Yeah.
whether it's my habits or preparation or even how my accountability to the team, you got to know that you could slide down. And that's the beautiful thing about the NHL is, man, you never can get comfortable and cozy because of that. And when you create that, it's good.
Well, I think when you have a coach who helps create that, like Chris Knobloch.
Well, the coach has
right?
to create that.
I think Chris
belief.
Knobloch, probably the one biggest thing, he's created belief and a healthy competition to show that, you know what, if you're going, you're playing. And guess what? If you're Evander Kane, who was healthy scratch in LA, and then came out and claimed, when the coach even gave him out to protect him, he didn't take it, which is odd. But you know what? You can be Evander Kane, you can be Ryan McLeod, Warren Foegele, Vincent Desharnais, Cody Ceci, go down the list of guys. Darnell Nurse was right on the ledge of being a healthy scratch. And to me,
Darnell Nurse was?
Oh, yeah. There was very strong conversations after game 3 of the Dallas series.
Wow, that would have been huge.
Now, they obviously went, and like, ultimately, you have the conversation.
Yeah.
And my understanding was they look and say, okay, well, when he plays his best, who's better? Well, we all know Darnell Nurse is better than Desharnais. And he proved it games 4, 5, and 6 against Dallas.
Yeah.
But at least if you're willing to have the conversation as a coaching staff, it makes it. And at every level, not saying you should bench kids, obviously younger levels, but no coach, like you see it all the time in minor league. This is our first line. This is our second line. And it never changes.
Yeah.
It never changes. It doesn't matter. The kid in the third line's improved all year long, but the coach, no, you got to be and I'm like, why? First of all, you shouldn't really have big designations at a young age. You just be playing your line, rotate around. You never know which kids can play with each other and learn how they adapt and think the game. And I get you on some continuity, sure, but you should be able to move around and try different things. But I look at Knobloch and I think, there's 23 players on the Oilers playoff roster. Only 11 of them have played every game.
Mm-hmm.
That's half your lineup that has had to be a healthy scratch or injured in the case of Henrique.
Yeah.
And that, to me, that creates a healthy competition. And I love Vincent Desharnais. He's like, I don't like sitting out. I hate it. But you realize you can't be moping around. It's bigger than you, and you want to win a Stanley Cup. And guess what? And as hard as it is to wrap it around, if he doesn't play in the Stanley Cup final, but he played in the first round when they won. He played in the second round they won. He played in the third round. He made some big plays, right? Made plays that help. And you're still part of it. But I think that's Knobloch's. I look at Knobloch's. I think his biggest strength is two things. He's willing to give guys, new opportunities, move you up and down if you're not going. But the thing I noticed last game about Knobloch, Dylan Holloway is a young player, very young player. I think he's played really well in the playoffs. His worst game was his last game. He had 2 really bad giveaways, didn't get the puck out. Guess what? He didn't miss a shift, right? Now, I talked to him. He had a conversation with Knobloch. Just, they went over it, and said, Dylan, you made lots of good plays. You're going to make a mistake, but in the moment, you want to minimize the mistake, obviously, in key moments. But other coaches, Brownie, I'm sure you had it as a young player. Guess what? Big mistake at a key time. Well, the easiest thing is to sit the guy down, and it can ruin a player.
Yeah, but there's two sides of that too, 100%. But Dylan Holloway has also earned some credibility. His rope's a little bit longer, right? So maybe earlier it's like, ooh, I don't know, but he's put a string of games together. He's built some trust, some confidence within his teammates, within his coaching staff, to be like, hey, you know what? I believe in you. You're more often than not, you seem to be making the right play. Let's just make you aware of it. Let's get, dial in our details. But
a long way.
Fair right. Point, and so Ron Lowe was, I caught a little bit of your clip there or your interview with Ron Lowe, who was, I was coached by and was a great guy. And, he talked about, Bonsiedner being out and then playing victim. Yeah. Right. But I mean, part of that too, Ron Lowe was a great guy. We had a great team, great group of guys that you cared about. But Ron Lowe was also like one of those guys you didn't want to disappoint. He was like, kind of like a dad. Right. Like he was just such a nice guy.
So the fact that Bonsiedner didn't probably tells you all you need to know about why he didn't make it.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Because if you have the coach that everybody doesn't want to disappoint, and then this one guy's like, well, I didn't like any of my coaches anyway. You're just like, ooh.
Yeah. I hated all my coaches, but I respected them. They never, I wanted to play 60 minutes. I wanted to play on the power play. Not possible. Didn't have the skill set to do it. I hated them, but I liked them.
Yeah.
I just didn't like that moment when they're like, hey, you're sitting out and I got to skate. They're skating me. That's not fun. Of course. Why would I like
it? Helped. You're pretty good skater.
But I had great I had great coaches, and I'm saying that kind of jokingly. I wanted to play. There's only one puck.
Yeah.
Everyone wants it. You can only divide it up so much. There's only so much ice time, right? Yeah. So, they ultimately hold a little bit of the cards on whether you're going to play or not. But, like I said, I mean, at one point when I sat out or was punished for whatever reason, was I like, I was like, hey man, I want to get back and prove you wrong in a positive way.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Of course. That's what you want. And deep down, that's what the coaches want. Plays so well. Coaches always tell me it's usually the player who decides if they come out of the lineup.
It is.
Not
It's all on
necessarily
your plate. That Ron Lowe or any coach doesn't wake up trying to punish a 9-year-old or anyone.
Well, I would hope
they
so.
want players. They want players. If you can play, they will play you.
Yeah. When we come back, Craig Button will join us. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook. It is the Gregor Show presented by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca. Use the promo code Gregor50. It ends when the playoffs are over. Gregor50 will get you a free $50 play with a minimum $5 deposit.
Warmer, brighter days can make you crave something to sip. Booster Juice is busting out booster mixers, the summer fixers. Cold, tasty sippers in 5 vibrant varieties. The Mango Teaser, Berry Teaser, Almighty Acai, Game Set Matcha, and Oranges and Cream. Try all 5 and brighten your day a sip at a time. And try the Cookies and Cream Booster Ball, the yummy little bundle of almond butter, maple syrup, coconut, and gluten-free cookies. Visit a Booster Juice near you today or download the Booster Rewards app.
Hi, Jason Gregor for Volvo of Edmonton. This summer, lease a new 2024 Volvo XC60 with 0% finance or save up to $6,500 on select models for qualifying loyal customers. Plus a free 10-year, 1 million kilometer warranty with all demo vehicles. And if you're thinking hybrid, save $6,000 off all 2024 new and demo XC60 Recharge plug-in models. Discover why we're Canada's only 13-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. 1205 101st Street Southwest or visit volvocarsedmonton.com.
Hey Edmonton, ready to power up your projects with unbeatable strength and efficiency? Step into Edmonton Kubota, where our massive inventory meets all your needs. From rugged tractors and loaders to nimble mowers and utility vehicles, we've got the machines that work as hard as you do. And guess what? This month, we're rolling out exclusive deals that'll make your heart race faster than our engines. Drive down to Edmonton Kubota or visit EdmontonKubota.com to discover how we can boost your efficiency, productivity, and fun. Edmonton Kubota, powering your passion with every turn of the key.
Black Friday pricing is back at the Brick. The savings continue all week with up to $1,000 off sectionals and up to 40% off mattresses, and save up to 25% off select major kitchen appliances. Take advantage of Black Friday prices this summer to pick up all the essentials for your home. Shopping has never been easier. Take advantage of these fabulous deals today because Black Friday pricing won't last forever. Some exclusions apply. The Brick, saving you more.
The Toronto Blue Jays are on Sports 1440. Every weekend, catch all the action with play-by-play announcer Ben Schulman. The Blue Jays, this Saturday and Sunday on Sports 1440. Edmonton's home for all things sports.
The cheesy burger pizza is back at Papa John's. See what happens when you ask for it? Boom! Finally, it's on the menu again for a limited time. Get all the items in the cheesy burger trio or choose between the large cheesy burger pizza for $18.99, cheesy burger papadilla for $9.99, and bacon cheesy burger papa bites for $8.99. All made with sizzling beef, dilly pickles, ooey gooey cheese, and burger sauce. That's right, burger sauce. Get it before it's gone. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some cheesy burger pizza at Papa John's.
Heavy hauling in the worst of climates can be dreadful. Take the stress off the job with AccuSteel Heavy Haul Trailers. They redefine heavy hauling with premium heavy haul trailers designed, manufactured, and battle tested in the harshest of conditions. And if your heavy haul trailer has issues, their full service and frame inspections will tell you exactly what's wrong and why. They take the guessing out of repair work with quality engineered frame repairs that get you back working quick. Discover the difference at AccuSteel.ca.
A premier hockey solution with a clear path for long-term development is proud to be entering its 8th season of independent borderless hockey, featuring provincial and cross-province competition with showcase style, regular season gameplay, and a strong commitment to individual skill development. It's an attractive option for those seeking family life balance. The Hockey Super League offers opportunities for both male and female athletes born between 2011 and 2016. Visit hockeysuperleague.com for more information.
Picture a chill summer moment. Now, add a McFlurry. Nice, right? Now add the new Strawberry Cheesecake McFlurry with real strawberry pieces and cheesecake-flavored cookie dough. Super chill. Available for a limited time at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
.429, welcome back. We are less than 2 hours away on a pause of Friday from Game 6 puck drop Oilers and the Florida Panthers. If you don't have tickets and if you're not in line at the Moss Bay, you ain't getting in. So, hey, get in here to OTR. There's still some space available, but it's going to be busy. Of course, we see it filling up Oilers jerseys pretty much at every table, as is expected here today, except Sean Brown. He didn't bring as a former player. He'll wear it to a house party, but he won't wear it out.
No, hey, this is by the way, this is my old stomping grounds in this area. So I lived off 118th. What's that, 17th or 18th? Right by, the cabin. The Druid used.
Yeah, 116th.
Yeah. So on 117th, that's where I lived over there. There was me, Boyd Devereaux. There was.
Yeah, well, this
was the old Pink Palace, so it's kind of bringing back memories.
Yeah, this wasn't OTR. Actually, you know when OTR actually started?
Yeah,
It started in June of 2006. It opened for the final 4 games of the Stanley Cup Finals.
Okay, what was it before?
I have no idea.
The grocery store I think was there.
Yeah, the grocery store was there.
Yeah.
Now it's the drugstore.
Yeah.
That's a really good question. I have no idea what it was before.
It is a great spot, though.
So it's been open. It'll be their 18th birthday is coming up. Well, actually, I think I might just have had it. Actually, I think it's on the 10th, maybe earlier. But yeah, so 18 years. So that's when it started, and it's taken this long to get back to the Stanley Cup.
Yep.
So if you want to come down to OT, hey, maybe you were here 18 years ago, maybe.
And it's you know what? All the TVs. It's dark. It's kind of dingy, and you can kind of hide in here. You can't hide under these lights, so it's bad for you. But you could hide in this bar, Gregor.
Nobody. I never needed to hide in here. Sometimes I did, but we used to have the on the far side of the opposite end of where we're broadcasting, there was a little ledge.
Yeah.
And so we used to have a running joke. We'd say this is because you'd stand on the ledge and you could see everybody when it's packed on a Saturday.
Yeah.
And so you have the bouncer stand at the thing.
Yeah.
You know, some girls would come by and be like, that's VIP. Oh, so funny.
So this is early for everyone. You got to pay yourself. Like it's getting pretty full right now.
There's lots of our listeners out there. I always tell people, here's your number one key. Here's your tip from a gentleman who's who had many years of loads of fun. The number one rule: hydrate as you go. Right, you get caught up. You're having your beers, just mix in a big water. Yeah. Have a few beers and chug a glass of water. Yeah, people. Yeah, but I gotta go to the washroom. Who cares? Yeah. Trust me, your hangover is infinitely less. And then if you want to, you graduate to vodka waters.
Yep.
It's way better than a little bit of soda. I'm telling you, that's my. Get out of the pop. If you're like a rye Coke guy, try to change. OTR used to be Oliver's Steakhouse back in the day, or maybe Michael's Pub. We'll see.
I got to give a little bit of a shout out to an old kid I used to coach. I got one fan out there, I guess. So my son's best friend Colin listens to Spit and Chicklets, and they were talking about it, and then he's like, "What? You don't listen to Sean Brown on the Jason Gregor Show?" So shout out to Tyson Horiachka that listens to me. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but
oh, nice. I like it. Let's get to we'll track down Butts. He might be coming on later. He's just doing a live hit, I think, right now. So we're gonna get to we're gonna go in the room. Brought to you by Action Electrical. Take action on your savings. But hey, will they want to focus on that? Not tonight. They want to focus on the orders. Blake and the gang and everybody at Action having big parties everywhere. Everybody's getting together, and they of course are in the corner of the blue and orange from actionelectrical.net. And let's get to some of the comments from Zach Hyman and the power play. Confidence for an individual player is one thing. Does confidence for a group like your power play, what we saw against Dallas, once they scored once, the floodgates open? Does he sense the same now that they've had a multiple goal game on the power play against Florida?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice for it to go in, obviously. I think it works twofold. When you're scoring and you're playing in a series against a team, you're gaining confidence, and then the penalty kill, obviously, when you get scored on, it's just you obviously feel it a little bit, right? So it works on both ends. You're maybe not as aggressive as you once were because you're afraid you're going to get stung again. So, but I think as you go later in the series, it favors power plays more because you kind of are trying to figure out what to do, right? And the penalty kill has to adjust to the power play now.
Well, that's been true definitely for the Oilers' power play, not so much for the opposition's power play against the Oilers' penalty kill. Like outside of Vancouver, when they had the 2 games where they scored 3 power play goals total, that's really been it for any sort of momentum for a team. Dallas had the 1 game, Florida's had 1. That's it. Like they've only allowed 4. Dallas didn't even score in the power play. 4 power play goals against, and they've scored 3 shorthanded. Like when you think about that, Brownie, it's mind-boggling to think. And then you throw in the fact that Florida has allowed 5 shorthanded goals. Like my goodness, you go to playalberta.ca, you might think about putting it down on a shorthanded goal again tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. The way they're going.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been on both sides where when the power play's clicking and you get one, you're just excited, you're jumping over the boards, and the odds are just you feel different, right? Your stick feels different, your vision feels different, the puck everything feels great, and all 4 guys are feeling the same way. And on the opposite side, you're just fighting nothing. It feels hard. Everything just feels hard. And on the other side of that, when you watch the Oilers, and the biggest thing for me is entering the zone, getting the zone just to get set up. And Connor McDavid makes it look so easy. And I don't think we understand, as fans, how hard it is and how good these guys are. And when they give the puck back to him and how he's dancing and handling the puck and splitting these guys, and he gets the zone so easy, like no one's even there. It's like someone has dropped a pro hockey player in a men's league game. He's that good in so many different situations. And when you get the zone like that easy, the confidence you get from that, right? Because now there's no panic. Because as a PK, I mean, you got a 10-15 second window on an entry where you have a good chance before they set up of getting the puck down. Right. He almost takes that away because he gets it, and he's got time, he's got his head up, he creates space. And now, PK, you're in one, right? It's like, okay, now everybody's in play for this guy, right? And now, it's settled it down, and in which obviously is skilled guys and skilled power play gives, with time and space to make great plays.
Hey guys, Lota said Campbell for Patrick Laine, Columbus straight up. Would you do that, Mike? Not a chance. Like I said, Jack Campbell's a $3.8 million cap hit for your team. You're gonna add basically $5 million
for Laine?
Yeah, 0. The owners are buying out Campbell because they need cap space. They're not going to trade him to add $5 million in cap hit basis. I know you say, well, he's $5 million, but it wasn't on the roster, so he's really 3.8, and Laine's 8. No thanks. There is no way I would do. I'm intrigued by Patrick Laine, the shooter and everything like that, but there's lots of other things at play there. I would not do that straight up for Jack Campbell. You'd have to move out something more for sure to even consider it. I'd be surprised.
And it's not like he's obviously talented and has an upside, and
he is a good shooter though. Like I do wonder, you play him with McDavid or Draisaitl, like woo. There's a guy that if he's motivated, Brownie, because even
that's the key. That's the key.
And hey, like he was in there, he was getting some help off the ice, all that stuff. Yeah. I get the potential, but I'm just at that high of a cap hit. Edmonton doesn't have cap space. They can't add a winger and an extra $4 million, $3.5. It just doesn't make sense.
Yep. But the key is the buy-in too, right? I mean, you can bring in all the different pieces, but where are they at mentally? Where are they at believing they are comfortable and confident in the situation that they're in, right? Because if you bring in certain guys, it doesn't matter how talented they are, if they're not buying into where you see them, it wrecks the chemistry of the whole team.
I just got this text. I want to read this one. I love it on a Positive Friday. Hey, fellas, Positive Friday vibe. I just finished what I hope is my last CT scan at the Cross for a very long time. I'm off to the game for another win from Brent. Well, Brent, hey, man, I hope for your sake that is bang on. That is awesome. What a way to celebrate for your last CT scan. And I know there's lots of other people out there, family members that are going through it. Hopefully, a lot of other people can get some positive vibes on a Positive Friday. No doubt about that. Now, a few other things to get to. Hey, guys, if the Oilers win, what are the odds of winning a Game 7? Mike, well, what do you mean, Mike? Well, no team's ever done it being down 3-0 other than the 1942 Toronto Maple Leafs. And actually only one other team has ever been down 3-0 and made it to Game 7. And that was the 1945 Detroit Red Wings, who then lost to Toronto in Game 7. So we're talking like since 1945, right? Since World War II, we haven't had a team do what the Oilers potentially could do if they're victorious tonight. As far as the odds, I'd have to go back and look, okay, what are the odds for the road team winning in Game 7? Well, guess what? Let's just look at recent memory. 2019, who won on the road in Game 7? The St. Louis Blues. Who won on the road in 2011? The Boston Bruins. Right? Who won on the road in 2009? The Pittsburgh Penguins in Game 7. So just in recent memory alone, road teams in Game 7, not bad. But, that's all past. The Oilers, they could have momentum. But Craig Simpson brought up a very good point to me today. He said, if the Oilers win tonight, that's unreal. Like, they're great. They go in there. But the one thing that changes for them is, for the first time,
the pressure's on them.
They go to bed, and you're just like, I can win the Stanley Cup tomorrow. And it's good.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, you're just like, and even if you don't want to, it's like, you get a little bit more nervous. You're like you've never been this close. Now, Corey Perry, of course, but there's lots of guys who have never been that close before, right? And it's just a different feel. He said it's like Florida's players when they came to Edmonton for Game 4. It's the first time they woke up and they're like, I can win the Stanley Cup today. And and that should be a positive, but it also can be, it can be a little unnerving.
Well, yeah, I can't speak to this through experience, but like you said, I mean, all of a sudden a childhood dream comes true. It gives me goosebumps even thinking about it. But not only that, now you're trying to figure out who's coming, right? Mom, dad, brothers, friends, family, right? I wonder how much of that plays into it, because no matter how much, the organization tries to put someone in charge and tries to take that off of your plate and tries to keep you focused, it's still got to be a thought.
Yeah.
Right. And I wonder, once you start, because I think they have to be so dialed in on the moment, right? You're dialed in on the moment, and then it's magnified when you get on the ice, right? Every shift, every period, all the cliches, like it really is that intense and that important. And maybe just for a fraction there was like, hey, you know what? Like, this is reality. And you probably don't want to let yourself think that way as an athlete, right? You want to stay hard. You want to stay intense. You want to stay, hungry. And then for maybe that weak second of just like, oh, gee, this is the possibility. Like, this is real. And, does that, you let off the gas a little bit?
I'm sure that they will probably, no, I would be sure that you could look at him and he will have some advice on how to deal with all these situations. Because it's going to come up and you talk about it. And I think, in anything in life, uses the situation a little bit, right? It doesn't mean that now maybe it's harder to fall asleep. So many players have said, man, it's hard to fall asleep the night before the Stanley.
Let's do this, Edmonton. Off the goal line, rebounding team and fires the doors, and there will be a Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final. This is Sports 1440.
Get ready, Oilers fans. During the finals, make a deposit with promo code Gregor50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the finals with 10+ odds boosts on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win amazing prizes like season seats for the 2024-25 season, or 5 pairs of seats to 5 separate Oilers games for the 2024-25 season, just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at playalberta.ca. Join the excitement and cheer on the Oilers. Let's bring it home. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk, elevate your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
There's still time to book your tournament at the Ranch Golf and Country Club.
As one of Alberta's top tourney courses, the Ranch makes hosting fun and easy for any group or business. No matter how unique or unusual, they'll accommodate your vision for an event no one will soon forget.
Start planning your tournament today at their beautifully landscaped course on the outskirts of West
no, dude, anytime you
On-site
can, just
event
hop off and
coordinators
then
are here to
text
help,
Declan.
but hurry,
Yeah.
availability is limited and booking fast.
Visit theranchgolf.com.
I'm Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. And I'm Zach Hyman. And when we're not making juicy, sweet passes or having my goals disallowed, we're working for Legacy Heating and Cooling. You know, guys used to call me a plumber, and now they call you an AC repairman. Nice.
Hey, guys, you're not here to fix air conditioners. You're here to sing the jingle.
Oh.
Well.
Okay. Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
No payments and no interest for 1 year from qualified installers. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Enio and Jason are friends. Hey, buddy. What's up, buddy? Except when they talk hockey. Edmonton had all those first overall picks, and they still can't win.
Yeah, but we still beat you. Battle of Alberta champs, baby.
But ask them who makes the best beef jerky in Alberta, and they'll tell you.
Wilhauk beef jerky.
It might be the only thing Alberta hockey fans can agree on.
Pick up some Wilhauk beef jerky today in Leduc, Spruce Grove, and West Edmonton Mall.
For over 65 years, Dedham Ford has delivered the customer service and value that keeps Albertans moving. And that tradition continues with the all-new 2024 F-150. Lease one today with $1,000 down and pay just $299 bi-weekly, taxes included. That's the value you've come to expect from where cars always cost less. The F-150 $299 driveway lease, only at Dedham Ford in Wetaskiwin or at DedhamFord.ca.
At McDonald's, we know summer can go by quickly, so make the most of all the park hangs, beach days, sunsets, and festivals. Whew. With a $2 plus tax sundae or snack-size milkshake, or an app-exclusive $1 plus tax soft-serve cone. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada, prices exclude delivery. App download and registration required.
Embrace the drive at GMC. Right now, lease the 2024 Terrain SLE from $199 bi-weekly. That's like $99 weekly at 5.9% for 24 months with $3,350 down on an ultra-low-kilometer lease. Get out to the best views with a 1.5-liter turbocharged engine and listen to all your favorite tunes along the way with available Amazon Alexa built in. Or maybe even no tunes at all. Visit your local GMC dealer for details.
Wendy's Small Frosty is the ultimate summer refreshment. And not because it's cool and creamy and made with fresh Canadian dairy. It's also refreshingly cheap, just 99 cents until July 14th. It's a treat for you and your wallets. Taxes extra at participating Wendy's.
The Toronto Blue Jays are on Sports 1440. Every weekend, catch all the action with play-by-play announcer Ben Schulman. The Blue Jays, this Saturday and Sunday on Sports 1440. Edmonton's home for all things sports.
.448, welcome back. A few technical difficulties today. It's you know what? It's that time of time. Everybody's fired up. It's so busy, but I think we got everything sorted out here. Welcome back to On the Rocks, Jasper Ave, on 118th Street. Let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick, where Black Friday pricing is back. The savings continue all week up until Sunday with up to $1,000 off sectionals and up to 40% off mattresses only at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, guys, it's that time. Score prediction and also a bold prediction for Game 6, Oilers and Panthers.
I'm gonna have to go with the Oilers are gonna win 3. I'm gonna say 3-2. Connor Brown is gonna get a goal and an assist.
Oh. I had the Oilers 4-2 with an empty netter, and I don't know if it's that bold, but considering, I will say Leon Draisaitl scores a goal tonight to end his slump, which most players would still love to get 6 points in 11 games, but when you're Leon Draisaitl, that's well below your normal rate of production.
Yep.
Transitions nice into question number 2. On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that we see a classic Leon Draisaitl performance tonight?
Well, I think it's probably unrealistic because of his injuries to think that this guy is just going to dominate and take over games like he has. I think we have to be realistic there. So I'm going to say, honestly, then, if that's the question, I will say I'd probably put it at like a 4, that he would have like a dominant game.
I'm going to say that the possibilities are higher because I think he's that close. And I think the way they're playing right now, the way they're skating and the things they're doing to create power plays, it's just going to take one of them to get in. And, like I don't think he's playing that poorly to begin with. And I don't
think he's playing poorly, but playing well and dominant are two very different things.
Yeah, but I mean, those guys have that ability to it's not like me where it's like, you play okay and can you just play good? Like with this guy, he has that skill set and ability to do that.
Question number 3. We'll put it in perspective here. Obviously, Nick Cousins, a fourth liner. In the games he has played in the playoffs, it's usually 10 minutes max, closer to 7 or 8. But what kind of an impact do you think he'll have on this Panthers team?
Well, I think that it's anyone coming into this scenario that hasn't played and hasn't been a part of it. It's really tough. And I think, we like to think that we're going to come in and make a big splash. But I also think there's a side, of an athlete getting in there as being like, hey, I don't want to be in a situation where I hurt my team. And so sometimes that can zap your energy, your enthusiasm to get in. If your strength is playing physical and playing with lots of energy, sometimes it can be a little bit overwhelming and could be a big ask because you're just so worried that you're in and you don't want to be a factor necessarily either way.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to have that big of an impact.
Well, if he has a real major impact in the game, then, that bodes extremely well for Florida. But he's an energy guy who's going to come in. I think his impact will be like Nick Cousins has a reputation of he'll embellish and he'll cheap shot guys. He's also got some skill. Don't get me wrong, but I think the Oilers who are out against him just have to be aware. Don't get sucked in and be very disciplined around him because he's very good at drawing penalties.
But that's quite often when you walk out or the scouting report, I mean, guys are talking, right? And that's going to be a focus point. If that's his strength, they're going to try and use that as a weakness and be like, hey, what can we do to suck this guy in? Because he is going to want to make a statement.
Yeah, he'll try to run somebody, and maybe you could be the one who embellishes a turn and try to suck the ref into calling it on you.
Or just stay there, hang around there and see what he does. See if he makes the last move.
Question number 4 for you guys today here at PlayAlberta.ca. The Elks 4.5-point underdogs tomorrow, and they take on the Argos. Fewer betting people. Are they going to cover?
Go ahead, Gregor.
4.5. Yeah, the Argos aren't that good, right? Like, they don't have a dominant quarterback. Like, at some point, the Elks got to get a win here, don't they? And honestly, they're on the road. They seem to win way better there. So, yeah, I'll say they cover.
I'm hoping they cover because of that. I mean, they need, with the previous season that they had and it being a new season and it being early, I think the desperation and the fact that, Gregor, they're on the road and this has to mean a lot. So I'll say, yeah.
Final question for you two. Hypothetical Friday. You're offered the opportunity to know exactly what you're doing in 20 years. However, you cannot change the future at all. Would you like to know?
For me, I guess I don't know if I want to know because I think that the excitement of the future is exciting. I think that I wouldn't want to change the way I think and how I'm living my life, right? And if I think I knew something that was going on and couldn't change it, I don't know, depending on what it could be, I wouldn't want to know. I love the fact that every day is a special new day and, you're building towards something, personally and as a family. I'm.
Sounds like we may have lost the two of them. We'll go a minute to see if we bounce back. Okay, we're back. And Brownie, we lost you there. So you might have to give a little bit more of that answer. We froze up.
Oh, okay.
So you wanted to see your family and those sorts of things.
Yeah, I look forward to, different things in the future and what the future holds and the excitement of the future. So I don't want to know. I feel like it might change my perspective and how I would think and things I would potentially do.
Now, what would be the incentive to know and then have nothing to do to change it? That'd be infuriating to me. Yeah. So, yeah, zero chance I'd want to know, but I already know. I'll be retired in 20 years. Mark it down, guaranteed.
But what are you going to do? You're not going to sit around like retire.
Dude, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to nap every day. That's the number one thing. You know what? Yeah. I've been reading all these. I'm actually going to start incorporating more naps. They say that napping 3 times a week is a major way to cut down on any long-term heart issues.
Yeah.
My father passed away at a young age due to a heart attack, so that one obviously piques my interest. And I just love the nap. Like, I love the nap. Like, honestly, man, when I wake up from a nap, it's you might have that 1 minute or two where it's foggy, but after that, man, it's go time. I love the nap. So I will. I'll have lots to do, but I won't. You know what? I will enjoy the first year of doing nothing. Like, I'll be like Seinfeld. I just want to do nothing. So. You know what? Maybe I would like to actually. I know what I would want to volunteer. I would charge no money. I would volunteer to just be like a hand at the farm. I'd want to help out at the farm again, because that's the one thing. If there's one thing I miss in my life, it's I like cat. I wouldn't want to do it. I'll be honest. I'm not going to volunteer during seeding time. Sorry, guys. Everybody knows that sucks. I'm going to volunteer during calving season.
Calving season.
I'll be there. Like, you know what? The smart people. I'm not calving in January. I've done that. It's too cold. But you know what? You got your calving season from like March. Tells you I'll be out there. I don't care. I'll be out there all night. To be unreal. I would volunteer for that 100%. I'm very good at it. I know what to do. I know how to pull the calf. I know how to do everything else. It's no big deal. But I can pull pretty much anything. Done a few backward pulls, so everything's fine.
So do you put that little rubber ring around?
Yeah, I know how to ring calves. Yeah.
What? That can't be good. Like, what's?
Well, dude, trust me. I can tell you, if you've ever castrated a steer at 6 months to a year and have them wanting to kick the living out of you, or you have a 2-day-old calf laying him on his side, right? A little pinch. It's like a little pinch like this, and then it's done.
Yeah.
So no, it's I'll guarantee you they would take the ring if they had a choice.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's not nearly. I would think as uncomfortable for them.
Yeah.
So, and it's way more comfortable for me.
So let's talk about the nap. Is it a nap like 20 minutes, 15 minutes? More?
They say a good nap is anywhere from 30 to, but they actually say you should limit the length of it.
Yeah.
But I would want to nap, like I'd be a good hour napper. Like minimum I could nap, and I could even nap probably up to 90 minutes. And I'm telling you, man, like I love the naps. Like, honestly, like to me, that feeling of when you crawl back into bed, oh God, it's almost orgasmic. Yeah. How much I enjoy it.
I used to love the pregame. Nothing better than a pregame.
I was never spoiled. I had a real job in my life. I never got to nap. But like that's how good the job is. It's like athletes complain. I'm like, you're napping every day. Sit down, shut up, never complain. You can have stress, you can have all that. That's fine. But I don't want to hear how challenging it is. Like, I get it's fatiguing and everything like that. And it's hard to do. It's very hard to do. So you're very skilled, but come on, you're napping. Nowadays most teams, you go there, they got breakfast ready for you. You're a young single guy, breakfast, lunch, like it's a chef. It's unbelievable. Because if you ask anybody out there, like if you could get 2 or 3 things that most people would say, I'd like to have a personal chef and I'd want a house cleaner. And like those you cross that off the list. You're like, I don't mind mowing the lawn, whatever. But a personal chef where you could just wake up and they've got this gourmet and it's going to be healthy food for you. Like, I don't know anybody out there unless they're a chef. And even maybe the chef would want a chef. I don't know.
I'm sure a chef doesn't want to cook.
Well, no, most of them like it. Most of them are. Oh, buddy, Paul, you saw Paul Schiffel.
Yeah, I know, but they don't
like what? Did you watch him? You talked to him? Like he's
incredible.
Passionate about it.
Yeah.
Like I think chefs are very passionate about food, so they're good with it. Now they might want a guy or a girl once every few weeks, sure. But overall, I think they're like, that's what their passion is. They love food, right? So anybody who's not passionate about food will be the first to tell you, if I could have somebody cook for me, oh my God,
Imagine having
now I do. My wife, because I work till 6, so
yeah.
Dinner's made for me when I get home. So I'm very lucky about that. So
I think I would take a massage. Imagine having a masseuse just roll over, get a rub.
But you can go to masseuse every day. Just expensive.
Yeah, no. Well, that's what I mean. I mean, I'd rather have it less.
You want a free masseuse?
I want a free. But getting back to the setup of what players have now, like I've been in the Oilers dressing room and seeing the chef, and you having Noah Gregor and being aware of it's incredible. Like if I was an athlete, I would probably why would you wouldn't have to eat at home, especially if you're single, right?
Dinner, really.
Well, they probably take it to go.
Well, they have lunch.
By the time you get there, you have breakfast, then you have lunch. You can probably take something to go.
Yeah, it's usually lunch, and then they go for dinner. I talk to them because
Oh, really?
I asked them how many, realistically, how many times do you cook dinner?
Yeah.
At home. It's
probably
twice.
just have to get out.
Yeah, it's like twice. So tough fight. Brownie, enjoy the game tonight.
I will. Yeah.
All right.
Hopefully, I can't wait. This is
pace yourself here on the Rocks, buddy. Watch out, Dr. Way. He might confuse you with Struds, and you might have some China Whites. You never know. You never know what can happen. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. Spec will join us, LT and more. It is the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Sports 1440 update brought to you by High Street Insurance, driven by people, not products. The people taking care of people for 10 years, servicing Canadian businesses just like yours. And like all of you big Oilers fans, go Oilers go from highstreetinsurance.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game day, the Oilers back in action, taking on the Florida Panthers down at the Ice District. It's game 6. Panthers lead that series 3-2. Puck dropped about 6:20. Oilers head coach Chris Knobloch discussing Evander Kane, saying he's looked good and he's on the ice feeling much better, but he will be a game-time decision for the Panthers. Nick Cousin draws in. Kyle Okposo coming out. Colorado Avalanche forward Andrew Cogliano announced his retirement from the NHL after 17 seasons. The former Oilers first-round pick will be joining the Avalanche front office in retirement. In the CFL tonight, it is Week 3, BC and Winnipeg taking on the Bombers. That'll get going at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time. He'll also be in action tomorrow, taking on the Argos. That one gets going at 5 o'clock. Major League Baseball, Blue Jays about 10 minutes away from kicking off a weekend series with the Guardians. They'll also play tomorrow at 2:10, Sunday at 11:40 a.m. Both those games can be heard right here on Sports 1440. A couple games underway right now. All scoreless. Rays, Pirates, Tigers, White Sox, and the Diamondbacks, Phillies. Copa America tonight. We'll have Chile taking on Peru. That one starts just after 6 o'clock. At the Euros earlier on today, Ukraine defeats Slovakia 2-1. Austria over Poland 3-1. And we had a scoreless draw between Netherlands and France. For Edmonton Riverhawks in Kamloops kicking off a weekend series that gets going just after 8 o'clock our time. And in the WNBA, Dream take on Caitlin Clark and the Fever at 5:30. Then at 8 o'clock should be a good one as the Vegas Aces hosting the Connecticut Sun. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Alan Mitchell, host of the Lowdown with Lowtide. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
The postseason is always exciting for hockey fans, but for GS, it's all about construction season. For 50 years, GS Construction has been laying the groundwork for your community, but they can't do it without the best team possible. GS Construction is scouting for experienced and motivated laborers, pipe layers or pipe layers helpers, lead hands, operators, top men or women, and a water and sewer foreman. Apply today and start working for the 2024 construction season. Visit gsconstruction.ca today.
Hi, Jason Gregor for Volvo of Edmonton. This summer, lease a new 2024 Volvo XC60 with 0% finance, or save up to $6,500 on select models for qualifying loyal customers. Plus a free 10-year, 1 million kilometer warranty with all demo vehicles. And if you're thinking hybrid, save $6,000 off all 2024 new and demo XC60 Reach positive models. Discover why we're Canada's only 13-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. 1205 101st Street Southwest, or visit volvocarsedmonton.com.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
The Toronto Blue Jays are on Sports 1440. Every weekend, catch all the action with play-by-play announcer Ben Schulman. The Blue Jays, this Saturday and Sunday on Sports 1440. Edmonton's home for all things sports.
CW Eves Troughing is busy. That's why they're looking for experienced troughers to run one of their trucks. To get paid top rates, contact CW Eves Troughing at 780-435-1492 or email info@cweves.com. A solid financial plan is made up of more than just investments. Investments are an important part, but you need a more comprehensive approach. Roger Weird at Weird Pearson Akel & Associates Private Wealth Management understands that. He can help build a plan that includes retirement, estate planning, personal insurance, tax strategies, and yes, investments. Talk to him today and see the difference a real financial plan makes. Weird Pearson Akel & Associates. Call 780-988-4119 or visit weirdadvisoryteam.com.
Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com.
Positive Friday continues on as we are now just over an hour away from puck drop in game number 6. The Oilers and the Florida Panthers. And the excitement is brewing here at On the Rocks. Jasper Ave 118th. It's filling up very nicely. If you want to get down, I recommend that you probably got about a half an hour to get yourself a seat. There's obviously lots of standing room. You can be at the bar as well if you like. I know some of you Pacers, this is perfect. You're like, I can't sit down anyway. I get too nervous. I need to walk around, maybe mingle. You can do all that, Jasper Ave and 118th Street. And remind yourself, be confident. The Oilers are the favorite tonight. If you believe in that, at playalberta.ca. And remember, it's Lotto Max, 18 mil up for grabs. Get your tickets at playalberta.ca. As we roll through the afternoon, we're joined, of course, daily from Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet, brought to you by GS Construction. And, hey, they got the pedal to the metal. It's a busy time of season, but, hey, when the playoffs are on, even business stops at GS. They are all rooting for the Oilers tonight. Go Oilers, go from GS Construction as we welcome in Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. And Spec, what's your sense tonight of the Oilers, and what type of performance are we going to see? I thought Game 5 might have been the most competitive game of the series.
Yeah, I don't sense we're going into that 8-1 territory. I think it's going to, it went from 8-1 to 5-3 with an empty netter. If anything, it'll get closer tonight. I think Florida's had just about enough of Edmonton dictating how this thing's going to go. It's I'm not telling you Edmonton can't win or won't win, but I am saying they're going to have to play their tails off to be the Florida team for the third game in a row.
Yeah, they will. There'll be no lineup changes for Edmonton. We don't suspect anyway. Nick Cousins will come in. They'll swap Rodrigue and Verhaeghe once again. In game 4, you can't really use it as a measuring stick because the Oilers were up so early, Spec, and then their big guys didn't play a lot of minutes. But you look at game 3, and in that game, Knobloch opted to have McDavid out more against Bennett because they had the last change. So it was the Bennett line for 8 minutes, and it was 3.5 for Barkov. Do you think that continues tonight? And do you think that was maybe why Paul Maurice put Rodrigue on that line, because that line's had way more success with him than Verhaeghe?
Yeah, these are the matchups, right? Like whatever's been going on for Florida the last 2 games, they're not going to like, particularly, vis-a-vis Connor McDavid. No one's holding him in check here at this point. So, I would I would say to you that whatever they were doing back in Game 3, they'll probably go back to it, because whatever's happened since hasn't been going very good. And the way the Oilers can counteract this, and the best thing that could happen for Edmonton is if Leon Draisaitl made the Florida Panthers worry about his production a little bit. That's the missing link here, right? And the Oilers, the Oilers game plan, the Oilers, their DNA is, okay, the odd time you're going to slow McDavid down, but now we got Draisaitl. So far in this series, there hasn't been enough Draisaitl on the score sheet, and that's, the Florida Panthers are hoping it stays that way.
Yeah, it was sure a big difference today, Spec, in how Leon Draisaitl talked, and approached his struggles and how he had played compared to earlier in the playoffs to Darnell Nurse. I noticed a rather different approach.
Yeah, that's fair. I hadn't thought about that, but I think we all respect a guy that comes out in front of the cameras and the microphones and admits a little weakness, right? I heard you earlier on the drive in, you were referencing Stu Skinner, and after that Tampa game, when he came out and said, everyone else played great in the team tonight, it was me that was no good. And I don't want a guy telling me that every second game, because now we got a problem. But I thought Leon Draisaitl, and to compound this, he may well be playing with a very serious injury that he didn't tell us about. So for him to just eat it today and say, it wasn't my line mates, it's not what Florida's doing, he's not bringing up some injury or alluding to not being able to quite, he owned the whole thing, and I respect that a lot. I think that's a sign of a guy that's comfortable in his own skin and has a lot of, there's no insecurity there. He can tell you when you're good, and he can tell you when he's not good.
Yeah, totally. Totally valid. Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. Spec, the Florida Panthers, we had Zach Hyman, he talked about the power play and the Oilers, and it got some life, and the power play of the Panthers hasn't had any life, and so they're trying to switch it up with Oliver Ekman-Larsson. And as you looked last year, Panthers, a big reason why they lost that series was Vegas scored 6 power play goals in 5 games, and Florida scored none and went 0 for 14. And in this series, they're 1 for 30 in 2 years in the Stanley Cup final, Spec. And then the Oilers are, they claw back and win tonight. Again, that becomes such a massive thing. And I just wonder about the mental block, because it's not that their power play is getting a great amount of chances, Spec. They're barely generating any chances against the Oilers penalty kill right now.
Yeah, that's the difference. Like even when the score was 1-0 in power play goals, I think that was through the first 4 games, Edmonton's power play was infinitely more dangerous. They got an issue there. The Panthers got an issue. Their power play is no better heading into Game 6 than it was after Game 1. It's not making strides. It's not scaring the Oilers at all. They haven't figured out anything. When I look at Edmonton's power play, I mean, it was always dangerous, but they've managed to find a way to put a few pucks in the net now, right? It's, they have made strides. They have made some gains here, and it can't all be about special teams. I still think the Oilers are winning the last couple of games because they're winning their battles. They've figured out the center of the ice. They're winning at the blue lines. They're controlling net front better, all those things. But if you do all of that and then you win the special teams battle, now you got something going.
Oh, yeah. No question. And you look at like key players, Edmonton's had key guys step up at different times. They've had 13 players already in 5 games, Spec, score a goal. Right, like you go over the course of a season and think how many times in a 5-game stretch you have 13 guys scoring. Right, like obviously Connor McDavid's been doing ridiculous Connor McDavid-like things here in the last few games, and I think that's getting a big focus. But I think maybe lost a little bit is just how many other guys have chipped in, and Draisaitl isn't one of the 13, and guess who else isn't one of the 13? Evan Bouchard. So there, and not that he's playing poorly. I'm just saying, like, there's 2 of your top guys who haven't scored. If the Oilers end up having a goal from Bouchard and Draisaitl, people be like, okay, that's kind of normal. Like, and then that's 15 of your lineup in a span of 6 games. Like it's really shown the Oilers' depth, and their depth guys have really stepped up with key goals, not lots of goals, just key goals at right times.
Yeah, and I would throw Ryan Nugent-Hopkins' name into the hopper here as a guy that has more to give, right? So, you look at this Oilers team. It seems like 100 years ago that everybody was saying Dallas is going to beat them because Dallas has way more depth, right? This is a warning to all you fans out there. Don't listen to the us hockey guys say, because we're not always right. They got depth, and they got a couple guns that aren't firing yet in Nugent-Hopkins and Draisaitl. If those two guys start getting productive here at the end of this thing, oh boy, that's a good sign for Edmonton.
Well, there's a lot of people mocking me, Spec, because I was on a lot of shows against Dallas that said Dallas doesn't have better depth. I argued the Oilers had just as good a depth, if not better depth, than Florida. So, and because I crunched all the numbers and I look at it and I'm just like, geez, now, did I expect Janmark and Brown to be scoring shorthanded first goal of the game? Of course not. And that's where, like tonight, Spec, here's a unique question. Are they starting if you're Chris Knobloch, are you continuing on with the Henry starts games for us? Because that's 2 games they've won. They've started that line both at home and on the road. Do you start them again tonight?
Absolutely. This becomes a little bit of a tradition inside the dressing room, right? This is a little bit of a, you're doing this for your team as much as you're doing it for any kind of, who cares who the matchup is? Those guys can handle themselves. Absolutely. Why on earth would you change that, Jason?
Yeah, no, it's just, but you're right. I like how you put that. Guys, we see it all the time. Somebody reads up the lineup card in the middle of the regular season. Everybody's going crazy. Well, this is a playoff game. It's easy to get hyped up, but any little thing extra juice, of course. And it's just that line comes because McDavid's confident, right? Like, I think a lot of people forgot in Florida for game 5, McDavid was the 3rd line on the ice, Spec, to start the game. It might be a small thing for some people, but it illustrates the belief you have, and everybody feels part of it more because some coaches always start their best guys every game, right? At any level. And I'm always like, what are you doing? I don't care if you're U9 or in the NHL, players still get jazzed up when they get to be in the starting lineup.
Do they still look up in the stands and see where their parents are sitting at this?
Well, they would tonight because their parents are in the building probably.
Hey, listen, man, we've been waiting a long time in this town to see a team that doesn't have to start Connor McDavid and play him every second shift the whole game, right? We've been waiting a long time for a team that can win some games here and can get the big start and can get momentum from guys that aren't wearing 29 and 97. They got that team now here. It's been a long time coming, and frankly, that's why they are where they're at. This is a real hockey team now. It's not a bunch of guys and a few stars. It's 4 lines and 6D pair or 3D pair. They got a good team. That's why we're sitting here in June 21st about to watch a hockey game, man.
Spec, what's your prediction tonight? Are we going to Florida? You got one more road trip in you? What do you think's happening tonight?
It's going to kill the old guy, buddy, but how can you pick against a good story, right? Let's get to game 7 and see what happens. It'd be a shame everyone wants to see history. Everyone wants to see a game 7. I'm all for it, man. Let's see it happen.
I'm with you, man. Game 7 would be phenomenal. Spec, we'll let you get to the rink. Enjoy game 6 tonight. Pace yourself. Watch outside. You might just accidentally trip into a glass of beer, so be careful.
Thanks, Jay. Enjoy the game, everybody.
There you go. That's Mark Spector, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. Hey, guys, how about a little love for Daryl Cates, his Ice Strict, the Oilers management, and what they've done here? Well, hey, Cates put up a lot of money. There's no question. Since he's owned the team, he's never been afraid to spend money, right? Now, GMs might not always spend it wisely, but he was always willing to spend it. And, their management team, even their scouts, a lot of people a few months ago, they got no good picks. Well, Dylan Holloway and Philip Porter look like pretty good picks right now. Playing pretty significant roles for your team in the Stanley Cup Finals. And their youngsters still on entry-level deals. So, that's a boost for sure. I think, this to get to a Stanley Cup final, there's the players on the ice obviously have a huge factor, but your coaches, your trainers, your equipment guys, obviously your management, your scouts. Yeah, that's why it's a huge team. And that's why, I love the conversation I had yesterday with an NHL manager who won the cup in the last 6 years. And he said the one thing that he was disappointed was, and he goes, I want a game 7, but I'm going to feel sorry for whoever wins in game 7 because they're not going to get the proper amount of time that you should have to really celebrate that because they got to go right to work in the draft. And that's very true. That is something in the NHL, this should never happen again. You should not have the Stanley Cup finishing 4 days before the NHL draft. Zero chance. It's an easy thing to solve. You know when your draft is scheduled, figure it out. Figure it out. No way. They start here. This is the last day of where the NHL playoffs will begin. The last possible day. So let's figure it out, because I think that's unfair for a lot of them. We'll wrap things up here. The con man's going to take over because, hey, we got to get to the rink. So Connor and Declan will take you home here on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Low Tide is next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
AccuSteel Heavy Haul Trailers have been providing highway and off-road custom trailers for over 25 years, bringing you innovative solutions for unconventional problems. They're your industry leader in engineered heavy haul trailer frame repairs, retrofits, rebuilds, and custom trailer fabrication. When you need to haul the largest machinery on the planet, they can do it with a premium engineered heavy haul trailer made right here in Alberta. They're 100% family owned, treating you like part of the family. Trust the experts at AccuSteel Heavy Haul Trailers. Learn more at AccuSteel.ca.
At McDonald's, we know summer can go by quickly, so make the most of all the park hangs, beach days, sunsets, and festivals. Whew. With a $2 plus tax sundae or snack size milkshake, or an app-exclusive $1 plus tax soft serve cone. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada, prices exclude delivery. App download and registration required.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
The Junior Prospects Hockey League is entering its third season of gameplay. The JPHL now offers academic and athletic opportunities in the 14U, 15, 17, and 18U age divisions. All JPHL games are broadcast live on Silent Ice TV with a showcase-style game schedule.
Win and then take care of business.
Travel and accommodations for its team, staff, and players. To learn more about why the JPHL is the fastest-growing elite hockey academy stream in Western Canada, visit juniorprospectshockeyleague.com.
Black Friday pricing is back at the Brick. Check out the latest deals in every department, as well as hot new items just in time for summer. This Friday, June 21st, from 5 p.m. to midnight only, shop incredible 7-hour door crasher deals, like 65% off sofas when you buy the matching love seater chair, and 50% off mattresses $9.99 or more. Take advantage of these fabulous deals today, because Black Friday pricing won't last forever. Some exclusions apply. The Brick, saving you more.
Warmer, brighter days can make you crave something to sip. Booster Juice is busting out booster mixers, the summer fixers. Cold, tasty sippers in 5 vibrant varieties. The Mango Teaser, Berry Teaser, Almighty Acai, Game Set Matcha, and Oranges and Cream. Try all 5 and brighten your day a sip at a time. And try the Cookies and Cream Booster Ball, the yummy little bundle of almond butter, maple syrup, coconut, and gluten-free cookies. Visit a Booster Juice near you today or download the Booster Rewards app.
Hey, Kevin, what are you doing in here?
Well, last month you were giving away, so I just thought I would see if you were still giving away in June.
Stop swearing. And yes, we are still giving away in June at St. Albert Dodge. Take our 2024 Durango, was $64,500 and now just $52,900. Need a new Ram 1500 4x4 crew cab? We've got it. Originally $63,700, now just $44,900.
See, you are still giving away.
Kevin, stop swearing. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Ritchie Brothers Auctioneers presents a massive 3-day unreserved heavy equipment auction at their Nisku site June 24th to 26th, 8 a.m. Live on-site and online. Heavy equipment, excavators, loaders, trucks, trailers, plus rig moving dispersal. Register to bid. It's free. Priority bids, on-site viewing, registration, and timed auction on now. Demand for equipment is strong. Contact your local territory manager to consign. More at rbauction.com.
Well, welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley with you live from the E-Well Studios here in West Edmonton Mall. The Jason Gregor Show, as always. Remember to use your game sense. Use code word Gregor50. You can get a free $50 bet while the playoffs last. So check that one out. PlayAlberta.ca. Right now, we are going to get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by the JPHL, an academy-style approach for U14, U15, U18 players with a focus on skill development and education. You can learn more at juniorprospectshockeyleague.com. We're going to bring in Alan Mitchell. Of course, you can hear him right here on Sports 1440, Monday through Friday from noon till 2. It is the Lowdown with Lowtide. LT, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
I'm very well. My nerves are absolutely fine. There's no issue at all.
You're lying. You're lying to me.
All right. I got a blood pressure tester here right now.
What are
I'm
you
gonna go ahead?
So what are you doing? I know you're probably sitting there on the Chesterfield, perhaps. Are you getting any liquid courage or anything like that? Or are you just trying to do it organically? How do you stay calm in these high tense situations?
Well, one of the things that works for me is that I say this one simple thing, and probably people will go, "That's a big cop out," but I think the Oilers, they are the better team. They have the better player. A lot of the things that we came into this series thinking, like the goaltending was going to be a big advantage for Florida, hasn't been true. Now, I think the Oilers are the better team, and I think that they should win tonight. Now, we know the luck and those things are out of everybody's control. So I go in thinking that, you know what? This Edmonton Oilers team should win tonight. And if they win tonight, I believe they'll win the Stanley Cup. So I think that's a pretty confident take. But based on what I've seen, even in the games they lost early on, except for the one game, I thought that they were the better team. And so game one, they didn't score, so they couldn't win. But I thought they could have. And they go down 3-0. And at that point in time, I think that was a point where I said, even though I think they're the better team, it's close to 50-50. And when you're down this far, I think it's very difficult to come back. But they did, and they have. So I think sometimes the team is a team of destiny, and I think this team might be that.
Oh, I mean, you've covered the NHL for a long time, Al. Sports in general. We've seen what Connor McDavid has been able to do these last 2 games, 4-point games, each of them, with the team facing elimination, and his career statistics when facing elimination. I don't have the stats right in front of me, but I have them close if I can scroll fast enough. Just ridiculous numbers that he's been able to put up when the team is facing elimination. In the 2024 playoffs, 4 games, he's got 3 goals, 8 assists, 11 points. I mean, you can't develop into this. I mean, I think this is just something he's born with. He's got that gene in him. When it's the biggest stage and the biggest moment, he rises.
Yeah, and he's the only thing you ever worry about with Connor McDavid is he healthy? And earlier in the playoffs, I think he wasn't. I think that in the early series, say the first 2 series, he was not 100%. Now, he's not where Leon is now, but he was not at optimal. I think that's changed. I think he's played himself into a situation where he's, health-wise, he's better now. And you can tell because he's, trying all kinds of ridiculous things. And sometimes on that Corey Perry goal, he actually succeeds at it, which is amazing, but true. So I think that for Connor McDavid, when he's in a big game, he is able to impact the game offensively in a way nobody can, and we haven't seen since the great Oilers teams of the 80s. And the only thing that stops that is health, and he's got health. He's healthy, or at least he's healthy enough to impact the play in a way that we would expect him to. So, I mean, keeping him off the scoreboard is absolutely impossible. It's not possible to keep him off the scoreboard, and that's a big advantage.
Now, if you're the Florida Panthers, obviously you're not just going to roll over. This is the second straight year you've been to the Stanley Cup final. You lost last year to Vegas. You're going to be hungry. You haven't had a chance to really close it out in 2 straight games when you could have. What effort are we expecting out of the Florida Panthers tonight? Obviously, a little bit of a change to the lineup. Kyle Okposo comes out. Nick Cousins goes in. I mean, that's a guy that can be a little bit on the edge, has a little I don't know, sandpaper to his game, can cross that line potentially. What kind of effort and like performance are you expecting out of this Florida Panthers team here? Because I'd say, the chance to wrap it up would be motivating enough, but they've had that the last 2 games. It's got to be a little more desperation now.
Yeah, I think so. But I also think we'll see the first 5 minutes that they will play extremely aggressive. If the Oilers dominate the first 5 minutes, Florida's really in trouble because the Panthers are the team that needs to change the momentum of this series right now. And if they are not able to do that in the first 5 minutes, when one of these teams really will try to score the first goal to kind of set up the rest of the game, then it might get a little bit chippy after that, because if the Oilers are going to the Panthers are going to try to skill their way to a goal. If not, then they're going to try to muck it up a little bit. I don't think it'll work. It's too late in the series. They don't want to get into penalty trouble because the Oilers have outscored them on the power play and on the penalty kill. So any special teams minutes have been a little bit difficult for Florida. But I think we'll see them at their best in the first 5 minutes of this game. If Edmonton is the better team in the first 5 minutes, or if they survive the first 5 minutes without giving up a goal, then I think the tide does turn. Florida will want to change the scenario, or at least the conversation after losing 2 in a row, and they'll want to do it early.
Alan Mitchell, the host of the Lowdown with Low Tide, joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Al, how about Philip Broberg and what he's been able to do in the short time that he's got that push in promotion into the lineup for the Edmonton Oilers? We know there was some holes on the defensive side of the puck. We thought, Broberg might get in there for a few games here and there. I know a lot of people thought, Desharnais is going to get that spot back at some point, but Philip Broberg has just been so good, and he's really giving management, coaching staff no other option but to keep him in the lineup. And I mean, that's got to be exciting, because I'm old enough to remember Jay Fresh's chart saying that he was a 50-50 shot at being a full-time NHL player. I mean, he looks like he's gonna reach that part of his career probably pretty quickly here, and maybe even exceed it.
Well, the thing about Broberg is he's fast and he's big, and all the other things are things you can learn. He when I saw him play in Bakersfield, I watched all of their games, and I was impressed with how well he played with the puck on his stick on the power play, just passing the puck out of his own defensive zone, carrying the puck. He was very confident, and he was very good at it. That's not a part of his game that we were told much about. It was always, the defensive deficiencies. But what the 5 years since he was drafted have done for him is he's learned on the job. And the other thing is that, he's healthy, and he's young, and he's able to skate miles and miles. And a lot of these guys are just beat up. So on the ice, this is a perfect time to insert him into the lineup, because he's physically, he's the most capable defenseman the Oilers have. I guarantee that, because he just doesn't have a year's worth of NHL miles on him. And then the beauty of Broberg, and it's a godsend really, is he can play his offside. He can play the right side. And he didn't do it a lot during the year. I mean, he really didn't. But he can do it. And that's a big help for them too. So as this series has come along, they've faded some of the veterans who are, noticeably injured or not 100%. And Broberg has been asked to play those minutes. And the big deal is he's done it. And I think the Oilers will be paid richly in the years to come, because the playoffs kind of count double when you're experiencing this now. When he comes back and plays in the fall during the regular season, say against Columbus, it'll be way easier for him, because the pressure will be far less.
Tide, looking between the pipes for the Florida Panthers, Bobrovsky, obviously we know what he did in game 1, shutout. Game 2, a .947 save percentage. Game 3, .914. Game 5 came crumbling down, .688. And then on Tuesday, we saw him in .826. Oilers winning the last 2 games, as we all know. What are you expecting out of Sergei Bobrovsky tonight between the pipes for the Florida Panthers?
Well, I think that if you're Florida, what you're hoping for is an easy game for him where he can regain some confidence. And that means not a lot of point blank chances, not a lot of breakaways, shorthanded or power play or even strength, where he can be in control and the Oilers have to make quick decisions and take quick shots on him. when a player has time to make him move, every goalie who has to move is less effective. And that's what's been happening in the last few games. The Oilers are making Bobrovsky move, and every goalie is less effective when that happens.
Al, what's going to happen tonight? Are we Monday afternoon talking about Game 7?
Yep. I think it'll be I don't think it's going to be an easy game. I think it'll be a nail biter. I think this is going to be, people are going to be hyperventilating into a brown paper bag midway through the third period. But I do think the Oilers win tonight.
And before we let you go, of course, you got the Elks and the Argos tomorrow in Toronto. It's a 5 o'clock kickoff. So depending on how Oilers fans are feeling tomorrow, there is some more sports to watch no matter what. I asked Gregor and Brownie on 5 questions. The spread is right now 4.5 points. Elks obviously underdogs. Do you think they're going to cover this one? And what kind of a game are we expecting out of the green and gold here?
Well, I think I think that this is, they've lost, but not by a lot. And they're coming together. And I think the road trip might be really good for them. You never know early in CFL seasons about other teams until you see them. So I can't say, how good Toronto is. I wish they were playing Ottawa tonight as opposed to Toronto because I saw Ottawa play. But I think they've got a really good chance. And I think they got a good ball club. I don't know how many games they're going to win. You hope 10 or more, but maybe not that high. But I think they're going to be a better team. And winning in Toronto, they've lost a couple of close ones. If they can win in Toronto, I think that things might turn around for them. They're a better ball club than they were a year ago.
Hey, you talk about it. The Alouettes beat up on Ottawa, 47-21. The Elks were right there. Couple plays by Walter Fletcher. That's the difference in that game. So I'm with you. I think they can hang around and keep this one close. Al, thanks so much for doing this today. Appreciate it. And we will talk to you on Monday.
Okay. Enjoy, everybody. It's going to be a great night.
There you go. That is Alan Mitchell from The Lowdown with Lowtide. Also writes at The Athletic. Give him a follow on Twitter at Lowtide. That segment brought to you by the JPHL. Check them out. Junior Prospects Hockey League.com. Before we get to break here, a big shout out to everyone watching on YouTube right now. Shopcat Industries, Squishies for Breakfast, T-Man. We got Jared, Eric in there, Kirk as well. A lot of optimism in the chat. So if you're ever wanting to watch us, you're listening to us and you think, man, I'd like to see what these guys look like. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can check us out all over there on Sports 1440 and Oilers Nation. Now, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get to the Sherwood lineup, let you know who's in, who's out going into this one tonight. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, as well as Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook. I'm Connor Halley. We'll be back right after this.
June 24th to 26th, 8 a.m. Live on-site and online. Heavy equipment, excavators, loaders, trucks, trailers, plus rig moving dispersal. Register to bid. It's free. Priority bids, on-site viewing, registration, and timed auction on now. Demand for equipment is strong. Contact your local territory manager to consign. More at rbauction.com.
There's nothing worse. Family's all excited to hit the highway and suddenly you remember, I forgot to replace that broken tail light. No worries. We've got you covered here at Vision RV. Hi, it's Larry Ricci reminding you that we have the parts and accessories you need in stock always. And if we don't have it, we'll get it for you ASAP. From tail lights to RV toilet paper. Oh no, I forgot that too. It's all here. Don't wait till the last minute. See us today at Vision RV, just south of the Yellowhead on Highway 60.
Some people prefer pre-owned to saying used. Sherwood Honda will happily sell you a used vehicle. But first, it will be pre-Sherwood Honda certified with a 159-point pre-inspection. Then pre-stored to Sherwood Honda's high standards. Then they pre-guarantee the lowest finance rates and prevent problems with the 30-day exchange privilege. Pre-owned or used, Sherwood Honda actually has plenty of both in stock with a buying experience you sure would prefer.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio, professional athletes use aquatic therapy, radial shockwave, zero gravity treadmills, and pneumatic recovery devices for rehab. Leading Edge Physiotherapy offers those to you because sport shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com. Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger with you here, wrapping this thing up as Gregor made his way down to Rogers Place for this one. It's going to be an awesome game tonight. Vibes are high. Declan, you're down at On the Rocks right now. I'm going to bring you up here through our tie line. I heard the screen is down and they've covered you up down there.
Yeah, so I mean, listen, the vibes are high down here. Things are great, but as soon as Gregor took off, Dr. Wang put down the screen and just said, you know what, we don't need that Declan kid. We'll hide him away. So I get it, but it stung a little bit. But yes, the vibes are high here.
Thanks there, Jason.
Are high. They're showing Oilers highlights on the TV. Things are going very well. Very, very excited for this one.
Hey, as they should be. It's going to be a good time at OTR. If people are trying to get down there, Declan, a couple spots left, I would assume.
Couple spots, yeah. I made the point of asking that they do have a couple of spots left for people who want to walk in late. Not every single table in the house is reserved. So if you get down here, a couple tables on standby just for that. It is filling up. It's getting busy. People are trickling in every time I look at the door. So get down here fast. Jasper Evan 118th.
And if you are heading down there and you see Dr. Wang, tell him Connor says to buy him a shot of Sambuca. I don't know if it'll work. I mean, it doesn't hurt to try, but I think it's always a good chance to throw that out there and just see if Dr. Wang's cool. If he's cool, he'll take care of it. He'll buy you something, but I think he will. The good people down there at On the Rocks, great food, great drinks, and it's going to be a good time. We missed it earlier, so let's get to it. Cam Tate's 2-minute warning brought to you by the fine folks at Legacy Heating and Cooling. Hey, it's summer. It's going to be hot out there. You really want to get on this, so make sure you give them a call. Check them out, legacyheating.ca, and we'll get to Cam Tate's 2-minute warning, talking a little bit about those Edmonton Oilers. And he's going to say thanks, Jason. Pretend he says thanks, Connor.
Thanks there, Jason. Big night tonight, and in a few more hours, Ken Holland will, very calmly, walk up to a long table in the Rogers Place press box, pick up a tea bag, pour himself a cup of hot water, gently float the tea bag in the cup, slowly pick up the nearby honey bottle, squirt the desired amount in, and then join between period intermission conversation. We've seen it countless times. But tonight is different, because Holland may have his last cup of tea as Edmonton Oilers general manager. Holland's 5-year contract expires at the end of June, and the speculation of his future is unknown. And what the Oilers do tonight has to be a contributing factor. Win and then take care of business in Game 7, and Holland can end his storied career with a Stanley Cup championship. Fitting for such an esteemed hockey executive, Holland. Maybe. He told wife Cindy that was the plan. 5 years in Edmonton, and then let's put our feet up. A great way to go out. Now, if Edmonton loses one of the next 2 games, things get interesting. Holland might feel the edge of greatness. And the compete of the man would want to be around to be part of that greatness. Maybe he comes back as a consultant. An advisor. Because Holland delivered as an Oilers GM. Want evidence? Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final is tonight. After spending a very educated 2 months with sports writers and broadcasters from across North America, a common tune is being whistled. The Oilers are set up very well for the next few years of being jubilant in June. That doesn't just happen. A great hockey mind does, a mind that of Holland. If Holland does retire, we wish him the very best. And D, make sure he's always welcome in Edmonton, anytime, for a cup of tea. 2-minute warning with Cam Tate. Jason Gregor Show. Monday, Friday. Sports 1440.
There you go. Cam Tate's 2-minute warning. We tried to run it earlier. It was dated. That's on me. I got to be better. I got to make sure that it's not dated and check it beforehand. But glad we could get the updated version from Cam Tate, the 2-minute warning every Monday and Friday here on the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Right now, we should get to the Sherwood Power Sports and Marine lineup, your one-stop shop for everything you need, from fishing rods and reels, tackle and boat accessories, to motorcycle gear, water sports, and accessories. Also, e-bikes. Love those e-bikes. So my dad's a big fan. He rips around all the time. Make sure you check yours out at Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. You can go and find more in person. Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. We'll start off with the Edmonton Oilers. Top line, no surprises here. Warren Fogle, Connor McDavid, Zach Hyman, followed by Leon Draisaitl, Dylan Holloway, and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. The third line's been fantastic. Matthias Janmark, Adam Henrique, and Connor Brown. Fourth line, Ryan McLeod, Derek Ryan, and Corey Perry. On the back end, you got Matthias Ekholm and Evan Bouchard, Darnell Nurse with Philip Broberg, Cody Ceci, Brett Kulak. Obviously, between the pipes, we will see Stuart Skinner. On the flip side, for the Florida Panthers, a little bit of a change, not a huge one. You could start on the fourth line. Nick Cousins, Kevin Stenlund, and Ryan Lomberg. Obviously, Kyle Okposo coming out. Cousins gets in. The Edmonton Oilers will have to be a little bit weary of that one, as he's a guy who can play on the edge. The top 9, Carter Verhaeghe, Alexander Barkov, Sam Reinhart. Your second group there, Evan Rodriguez, Sam Bennett, and Matthew Tkachuk. Tkachuk, obviously, a little bit of a lull in this series, even going back to that Rangers series, but he came off a game where he had a goal and an assist. Got to watch out for Tkachuk. We know he's got something. He's got something to prove. He's going to be coming out flying tonight. Then you two, Luosterainen, Anton Lundell, and Vladimir Tarasenko, the other forwards tonight. On the back end, you've got Aaron Ekblad with Gustav Forsling, Nico Mikkola, and Brandon Montour, and Oliver Ekman-Larsson with Dmitry Kulikov, the former Edmonton Oiler. And it does look like Oliver Ekman-Larsson will be manning the point on the first unit power play, taking the spot of Brandon Montour. Ekman-Larsson doing that for a long time with the Coyotes, not so much with Quinn Hughes being there at the Vancouver Canucks, but he'll get a chance to run that first unit power play. And then, of course, Sergei Bobrovsky back between the pipes for the Florida Panthers. We went through the statistics when we talked about him with Alan Mitchell. First 3 games, he was fantastic. The last 2, not so much. We'll see if Big Save Bob bounces back. If not, maybe Anthony Stolarz gets the call once again. Declan Kruger will bring you back in here from On the Rocks, Jasper Ave, and 118th. Going into this one, like, I don't know if you've seen the same way, kind of interacting with listeners and some of the fans of the Oilers. It was
right
in Game 5, Game 4. It was like, let's see, just win 1, give us our honor. Now we're getting back to that point where it's I don't even want to say creeping. It's fully in the Oilers fans' mind. Like this is a series. They win this one, and who knows? So I gotta think, pressure for the Oilers will ratchet up a little bit. The first couple games, it's like, hey, let's just make this respectable. But they got to believe they have a real chance going into this one tonight.
100%. It went from, hey, just don't get swept, right? Don't let them win it on your home ice. Don't get swept. We don't want to see Matt Tkachuk lift the Stanley Cup in your barn. It went from that to, hey, we got a bit of momentum. We beat these guys 8-1. We beat the brakes off these guys. We can get another one. They got that. Now we're back at home for Game 6. We're not letting these guys win in game 6 after we've won 2 back-to-back in the fashion we did. Are you kidding me? You have to think all the momentum is with the Oilers to win at home here. And from there, it goes to game 7. 2 best words in sports. Anyone's game once game 7 rolls around. So yeah, if you're an Oilers fan, you've gone from hope of, hey, let's just get one, to a true optimism that is found in the product we've seen on the ice that, hey, we can win this Stanley Cup. We're here to do it. It's one game at a time. It starts with game 6, goes to game 7, but we can do it. We really are that team.
Absolutely. I mean, the 8-1, like, that's it. You win 8-1. You got to start to believe you can do it, especially when it is Bobrovsky, guy who's had your number. The next game, it's a little more contested. It was a 4-3 game for a good chunk of that third period. And the Edmonton Oilers, I mean, they showed it during that 16-game win streak that they can play in those tight games. They got a little bit more comfortable doing those sorts of things. And it's shown in the playoffs. We saw it against the Dallas Stars, a couple 1-goal wins. We saw it against the Vancouver Canucks, even the LA Kings. There were some closer games in that series. So for the Edmonton Oilers, knowing that they can play in these tightly contested games, bend but don't break almost, it's going to happen at some point in this game tonight. It's going to be stressful, but that's okay. It can be stressful for us, the fans, the media, everyone else, as long as the people on the ice keep their cool. The Edmonton Oilers, I think, will find a way to hopefully keep this one going just a little bit longer. Text coming in here, 1-833-401-1440. Harry says, nail biter. No nails left. I think that might be the prediction for tonight. And yeah, there's no reason to think that it's not going to be that way. The Florida Panthers, I think the pressure's back on them. I mean, you let them slowly, the Oilers, them being the Oilers, crawl back into this one just a little bit. You're probably still thinking, we still have 3 more games. Now we still have 2 more games. You lose this one, and the momentum is fully going the other way. So I would expect a big performance from the Florida Panthers. Maybe some people say you got to kind of weather the storm, but for the Edmonton Oilers, I think you match it. You go out there and you find that intensity. I'm really intrigued to see what happens. Nick Cousins is getting a lot of love, Declan, but, hey, the Oilers got a guy named the Worm. I think they can match that type of performance, that behavior out there on the ice.
Yeah, that little edge, if you will. And the one thing I'll still say in favor of the Panthers, as minimal as it may be, the Oilers still have no margin for error, right? Like, you're still down 3-2. You've shown you can win both ways. You can blow this team out. You can play them close and win, but there's still no margin for error. You're still down 3-2, right? It's not 2-1. It's not 1-0. It's 3-2. So you have to keep that in the back of your mind, but with everything that they have going for them, it's right there for the taking. And yeah, you want to talk about Cousins? You said it best, man. Corey Perry, right? The Worm. Nothing else needs to be said.
Absolutely. Going to be awesome. Evander Kane will not go for the Edmonton Oilers tonight. He is officially out. And that's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Big thanks to Ken Reed, George Richards, Jeff Merck, Spectre, Lowtide, Declan, Gregor, Sean Brown, everyone else. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back on Monday to recap all the action. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Big thank you again for tuning in. Check the podcast if you missed anything. Up next, it is Turn Sports. Enjoy the game, everyone. We'll talk to you on Monday.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
It is game day. Oilers and Panthers. Just about 17 minutes away from puck drop as they meet in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final. Obviously, the Panthers leading this game 3 games to 2. Evander Kane will not play for the Edmonton Oilers. For the Florida Panthers, Nick Cousins draws into the lineup with Kyle Okposo coming out. Week 3 in the CFL rolls on as the Winnipeg Blue Bombers hosting the BC Lions. Kickoff set for 6:30 in that one. The Edmonton Elks are back in action tomorrow. They'll take on the Argos in Toronto. Kickoff at 5 o'clock. In the majors right now, Jay is currently trailing the Guardians 3-0. That one's in the bottom of the second. Elsewhere, Mariners up on the Marlins 2-0. Red Sox and Reds tied it to a piece. And the Rays lead the Pirates 4-0. Diamondbacks up on the Phillies by that same score. Earlier today was the Mets over the Cubs 11-1. Copa America tonight, Chile takes on Peru. That gets going in about 10 minutes time. Earlier today at Euros, you had Ukraine over Slovakia 2-1. Austria drops Poland 3-1. And Netherlands, France scoreless draw. Riverhawks are in action. They'll kick off a weekend set with the Kamloops. That one gets going just after 8 o'clock. And in the WNBA at halftime, the Fever lead the Dream 35-25. My apologies. That's just after the first quarter. Later tonight, you got the Aces taking on the Sun from Sin City. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Up next, another edition of Turn Sports. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.